1 2 check Chuffy 1 2. I am furious. 1 check Chuffy 1 2. I am furious. I'm not even like properly set up. I'm that mad. I'm not even properly set up. I haven't even got the music set up or like. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Tell me when you can say say hello. 1 2 check Chuffy 1 2. You're with Super Chuffer. It's midnight. It's always midnight. Tonight we have been watching Channel 5's documentary about Nicola Bulley. I've been watching it off screen and recording it, and it was awful. It was absolutely shambolic, diabolic rubbish. I don't know if I want to move my camera and my microphone. Right, well, I've moved them by accident now. Okay, so let's do that. We're gonna have a big chat. I want to know what you think. I've already been in the chat sorry, I can't even get my words out. In our chat, while it was going on, I was chatting. So I've been chatting a bit in our chat, but it's all going to be lost because it was before we went live. But I need to get my microphone over here so you can hear me better, and I need the relaxing video game music for this. It's going to be the wrong tone for what we're doing, but I can't, like... So, first of all, did you watch it? I've got you in chat. There's the documentary. The problem we've got, right, I'll tell you one of the big problems we've got is, of course, I cut this. I was going to record it while it was live, just normally the way I do. And when I went to record Channel 5, I couldn't understand this. If I go to live TV, I'm sure it will do it now. This is what's live now. Live TV on Channel 5. Watch this.
And the loose women...
Shut up, Katie Chuffer. Like, look, you can't see it. It's black. Somehow, Channel 5, I don't know how they've done this, because last time when I watched something on Channel 5 and needed to record it, I just recorded it. Somehow they've managed to make the screen recorder black for me. It's playing in a window, and I can't view the window. It must be some kind of deliberate copyright protection, but I'm not able to record whatever's playing on Channel 5, you can't see it. So I can't just play it on Channel 5's website and just show it you. And in the past with the Paul Ansell one, I could just play that and show it you and record it.
Welcome to the show, and we're starting with the Queen of Daytime TV.
So like, you can't see the show. I can see Lorraine on the show there, but you can't see it. So that's Channel 5's website have fucked us. But don't worry, I'm not stupid. What I did was I grabbed my camera. I'm going to close Channel 5's website now. That can go in the bin forever. I grabbed my camera and I just pointed it at the screen. So I've got a recording of it, look.
Mother of two, Nicola Bulley.
And that's about as much as I'll play because I've got a recording of it, but I upload to Sentries, my other channel Sentries, which is like a junk channel, so that I give it to my friend to upload, so that if I get copyright strikes, it doesn't matter. It's on Sentries. I don't care. Take away Sentries. But I uploaded it, and this is now, bear in mind, this is a video recorded off my screen, so it's got my screen in the background. It's not the full size. It's slightly on the wonk. The colours are a bit off, right? I recorded it like that. I mean, the sound's not different, but immediately it got copyright strikes on Sentries. Partially blocked, not available in all countries. That's private video. I haven't uploaded it. I haven't made it public. If I make it public, I get hit with the strikes, but it's a private video that I'm waiting to see if it got the copyright strikes on. So it's heavily copyright protected straight off the bat. Obviously, this is... I'm not being paranoid here, right? I'm not trying to make up a conspiracy. I'm not saying this is a trap for us YouTubers. But did you watch it? In it, they didn't mention YouTube, really. They mentioned TikTok a lot. They were big on the old TikTok, because TikTok's stupid. Everyone can understand that TikTok is stupid. Most people who watch this will think TikTok, oh, it's just a load of idiots on TikTok doing silly dances. And then they showed you some clips of some people on TikTok who thought, Nicola Bulley lives in my loft talking to me in the space. And... like a 15-year-old who's going to crack the case. It made us all look stupid on social media. That's not what we're like. That's not what we are. Stupid it was. It was stupid. Oh yeah, Sentries I've got on now because I had my watermark on while I was recording it. The point is, it's got bad copyright all over it. Like, if I play and watch this with you now on this channel, on Super Chuffer, we're going to have copyright issues at the Whammer. And if I'm live streaming, that could mean I can't live stream for another 2 weeks. Like, they could give me a live stream strike, and then that's different from a normal copyright strike. So I'm not prepared to play this tonight in great big chunks. You know, I can play a few seconds here and there, talk about it, but I'm not prepared to play it all tonight like this. The other thing I am prepared to do, though, is to go over to Twitch and play it in its entirety. So we will play it in its entirety on Twitch. I don't know what time, maybe tonight. You know, I'm furious already. And we will, you know, we'll go through it. As Mark Williams Thomas said, the police, when they get the CCTV, have to go through it frame by frame, and it takes a long time because they go through it frame by frame. They don't go through it frame by frame, Mark. They don't sit there one frame at a time. They watch the videos. Chuffer. Don't risk it. On Twitch, it's fine. On Twitch, it's fine. They don't copyright in the same way on Twitch. These big media companies don't have the same buttons to press on Twitch. They don't have the same relationships. So Twitch will just do it. And the actual episode might get copyright struck, but our channel won't go down. And even if it does, it's only my Twitch. Like, that's why I've got different, you know, different places. Jane Kelly, Chris's Substack has not nailed anything. Don't start me on this. I'll get you right where you need to be on this straight early. Chris's Substack is promoting a load of fey nonsense, a load of what was her name even? What was even her name? He promotes one of these YouTube channels. I'll tell you what Chris's Substack is, since we're talking about it, since you want to know. I'll just, you know, I'm not having this bollocks today, thanks. Which one did he put it in? Was it this one? Where he promotes this stupid thing on the internet. So what Chris's Substack is designed to do is he's trying to take you down a rabbit hole, get you really confused to the point where you believe in all conspiracies and everything's a fake and everything's a lie and everyone's an actor. And then you can't rely on anything on the telly. You can't rely on any of your friends because they've all abandoned you ages ago because you're a nutter now. You're right down the fucking nutter rabbit hole. And then he introduces you to this. Ella Ringrose. I mean, you don't know who Chris is. Chris could be Ella Ringrose. And Ella Ringrose is an online grifter who will talk extensively about the layers of energy and how you're going to, the earth is going to split and we're going to come to a new timeline, and about how you need to raise your vibrations. And what she's really doing is she's selling a course online called Wealth Codes. And if you are desperate for monies and you're stupid, and if you've gone through the idiot filter of Chris's Substack and been really confused, taken away from all of the people that you can trust, and now you're in a confused space where everything's fake and everything's a lie and you can't understand the world anymore, then you're going to be sold to this website, and for, I don't know, 300 or so euros, for 300 and something euros, you can claim your spot and get 6 Zoom calls. That's what that's about. That's what Chris's Substack's about. It's an idiot funnel. They take, most conspiracy theories on the internet have one of these. Somebody who's trying to take the idiots from the conspiracy theory, confuse them, misguide them even more, get them all whipped up, and then send them down a road where you can pay them some money. So don't ever talk to me about that again, okay? Don't ever talk to me about that again. That can go right in the bin. And if you want to go and watch Ella Ringrose and
Hello
her
everyone,
nonsense,
welcome back to my YouTube channel.
how to shift into your highest timeline, timelines explained, wealth codes. If you want to go and do that, then go and do that. Don't stay here, because we're very different kinds of content. That's grifting, shills, nonsense. If you want to talk about shilling and what's fake and what's, you know, what's lies and what's real and who's actors, Chris is advertising that you should go and give your attention and time to this woman who is a fake and a grifter. So get off. Get off. Get off. That can go in the bin. So therefore, this can go in the bin. As much as there's some interesting ideas there, and I said it before when we were talking to Eddie, because Eddie was well against this guy because he was throwing Eddie under the bus. I don't give a fuck about Chris throwing me under the bus or thinking I'm real or not. I don't give a fuck. I care about the truth, and people are going to investigate it and find truths. And Chris has been able to put forward some pieces of information that I haven't found elsewhere, and I was able to verify it, and it's good research. But unfortunately, that's the foundation for leading people down a fucking load of nonsense, leading people down a load of confusion. It's the same as flat Earth. It's the same as like Tartaria or whatever. If you're interested in that, it goes in the bin. So that wealth code, she goes in the bin. Right, back to this. We can't play extensive cuts of it. I am furious. We are going to go through bit by bit and have a look at it and talk about it. I will play the full thing on my Twitch stream and do the proper analysis, but let's stay from the start. There's nothing to analyse here. There's no new information at all. Zero. They promised us unseen clips of Paul Ansell, and the unseen clip of Paul Ansell was him touching the dog and going like that before the interview started for 2 seconds. They lied to us about where's the unseen footage? Where's this extra footage of Paul Ansell? It's fucking lies. It's clickbait. It's the worst kind of clickbait. They showed us nothing new, nothing that anyone hadn't heard before. No one had, if you'd watched the Channel 5 Vanish programme, you already knew all of this. And top to fucking bottom, they used the fake CCTV. It's got Jizzy's watermark on it, hasn't it? They used the fake CCTV. I mean, I can't get my head around it. It's doing my head in. Was that the fake, or was that the one with the watermark, or is that not? I can't get my head around it. It's doing my head in. It's doing my head in. How did they lie so often, so frequently? How come this guy, Mark Williams Thomas, is just disgusting, isn't he? He's just a disgusting creepo. Disgusting. And yeah, I thought it was about Nicola. Tell you what, Julie, the lack of concern or care for Nicola and her life. And Nicola once lived somewhere and then she moved to here. So anyway, she's in the river, she's dead. Like, they don't give a fuck about Nicola. None of them. They don't care at all whether they tell the truth, whether they found her, whether this or that. They want a sensational programme and they want to control a narrative. And they think that the news media should be the only ones that are allowed to control the narrative, and that they're special people. Special people. It's what? The people on the internet shouldn't talk about Nicola Bulley. Mirror, Nicola Bulley. One of them. When did they do that? This woman, here she is. Here she is.
Hello, my name is Holly Bone, and I'm a...
Holly Bone, and I'm special because I'm in the mirror. You're the same as everyone else. What she said in this documentary was, I can't believe the police didn't give us inside information. They should have given us off-the-record information. No, you should find things out because you're a journalist, instead of just stood by the river talking to your phone like everyone on TikTok. You're the worst. You're the absolute worst. And look, this is on YouTube, social media. You're doing it as well. And look at this. There's a short from the Daily Mail, and it's called Nicola Bulley Speculation. I think she's gone off with someone.
There's a possibility she's gone off with somebody.
I think there's a possibility she's gone off with someone. It's from the Daily Mail, and it's called Nicola Bulley Speculation. I think she's gone off with someone. That's the name of the video. It's from the Daily Mail. And in the documentary we just watched on Channel 5, they put that clip in, and they said it was TikTok. They said that was a TikTok idea. It come from TikTok because someone on TikTok had recorded it from the Daily Mail and uploaded it to TikTok with the logo on. It's just fucking nonsense. It's just nonsense. And they faked things, didn't they? They faked up a few shots when they needed them. Let's just fabricate a few shots when we need it. Was this recorded at the time of the search, or is it just fabricated later? Let's mix all those shots in together. Let's mix those shots in together. Here we've got fake Nicola, an actress playing Nicola. Like, do you know what I mean? And they said she's definitely there. She was holding the phone. She was on the bench. She was doing this. She didn't do any of that. There's no evidence for it. Thank you, £2 super chat, Ocean Blue. Can you see? I'm getting furious now. I don't care. She could have done that. She could have gone to the bench. She could have done this. She could have done that. Show me the evidence. We'll talk about it. You're going to make a documentary. You're going to say the public can't. Too many public people are doing conjecture, and then you go on and you tell a load of lies on your documentary about facts that definitely did or didn't happen. And I say lies, you can't say she was definitely there. You can't say, oh, an eyewitness saw her, therefore that's it 100%. It's just... Stop swearing. It's my stream, I'll do what I want. Thanks. Curtis in chat. Curtis is not my favourite person. You know, they can all get it today. Go and audit some fucking immigrants. But you can fuck off out of my chat, thanks. Hang on. I don't have to block them, do I? I can't be asked to... Like, now I'm getting annoyed with my windows. Like, we obviously know I don't agree with the same ethics as that guy, so, like, you know, they're not my friend. Meow. You know, I was taught to love my neighbour. I'm going to explode. This has been an absolute diabolical piece of work. And I say diabolical, I mean diabolical, of the devil. Of the devil. It's devilment. It's the woman from the sun and what she said. Oh, the woman from the sun and what she said. Oh. I'm having to, I don't know if I should need to collect my thoughts, or I said a load of it in chat while I was going to make notes. I don't think I even need to. Okay, should we start from the start then? I mean, I can't play any of this. They've got Emma crying! Emma crying!
After going on a routine dog walk.
She went on a routine dog walk. No, she didn't. We don't know that. We've got no evidence to prove that she did.
Nicola.
Holly Bone. Oh, you're special. You're special. Northwest reporter for the Mirror. She said the police should have given her stuff off the record, and then that would have been better. Get in the bin, you. All it was is you lost control. Who lost control of the narrative? Not the me. Not the police. The police's job is not to control the narrative. The police's job is to find out what happened, right? Big ups, Nick. Someone like Curtis filmed some of Nicky Bulley stuff. Yeah, fair enough. They went on to film some other stuff, which means I wouldn't invite them around my house. So, like, I'm having enough of it now. This is actually starting to annoy me. So, switch account. Let's be me. Why can't I be me in my own chat? What the fuck is going on here? I don't seem... Dover, are you in chat, yeah? I don't seem to have control of my bits and pieces. Curtis, you're welcome to watch, but I'm going to just get the mods to block you if you keep talking in my chat, because I'm starting to be... like, yeah, just remove Curtis DJ Media, please. Just have them gone, please, Dover. Just delete, block, whatever. I'm not in the mood for this, and I'm not, you know, debating ethics here. I have ethics, and I won't have that. You know, I'm not having that. It's not what they're saying now, it's who they are in their content that I've seen, so I'm not having that. Thanks. Thanks. You can see Jizzy's watermark on the ring door footage. Yes, I've got a video about that. It's members only, and I've got it dropped at the moment for members only, but after this I'll drop it for everyone, and everyone can see. And there's no point in talking to DJ Media now, because I've removed them. I've had them removed. You know, it's not on the topic of Nicola Bulley. It's about something else completely. But you know, I don't care about everyone else's ideas on that. I've got absolutely firm ideas on that, about love and respect and care for other people, and about the demonisation of poor people who are coming across on boats. You know, we've talked about it before, and I'm not going to have a look. You know, I care about children who are in poverty, and that doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, or anything. And it doesn't matter if you've come across on a boat or if you fucking landed on a rocket. Like, if you're a child and you're in poverty, that's the top of our priorities, I think. And I don't like the way people demonise those people, and I won't have it in my chat. I mean, I won't have those people that do it in my chat, so they've gone. Like, if you know, if Nigel Farage turned up and wanted to have a chat, he can fuck off as well. AD and Chuffer should do it live. Big ups. I'll tell you what was interesting. Now I'm calming down a little bit, which I'm not. I'm not even calming down a little bit. Big ups, Joe Boy. What was interesting was they were able to accurately make a recreation of Nicola Bulley walking around. It looked just like her, didn't it? It looked just like her. Well, then, could anyone have just walked around and looked just like her then? I mean, how do you want us to go through this? This is the problem, is I can't go through it. She says the readership was huge. People wanted to read the newspaper. It was them trying to control the media narrative, the media. They couldn't, because we've got ideas. And now it doesn't work like it used to. You can't tell everyone what to think in your newspapers. You can't sell a load of newspapers because people talk to each other online and they don't need to buy your shitty newspapers. So instead you do YouTube content and try and, you know, cloud the narrative with this bollocks. And I don't know why it's Channel 5. Like, no one watches Channel 5 anyway. Like Channel 5's the domain of, like, permanently... well, actually, there's one lady who I like who watches Channel 5 News, but other than that... Anyone want to ask me any questions? It was the worst load of bollocks. I'll tell you what, it was an absolute hack job. From beginning to end, it was an absolute hack job. Thank you, Foxy, for the $4.99. Thank you. They totally, and when I say totally, actually, have I got my coffee.com tippies on? I wasn't thinking about tippies. You know, tippies are the last thing on my mind, to be honest, but let's put the coffee alerts on and let's just quickly give that a test as well. Calm me down by looking at something else. They didn't, I'll tell you what they didn't do. They didn't engage with the actual narratives on YouTube in any way, did they? They didn't engage with the different ideas. Oh, there was so many ideas. Who could have known whatever happened to it? They didn't suggest or talk about any of them. Apart from alluding to a man in black, because they had him videoed as like a fake video, didn't they? They fake videoed the man in black. Fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. I've got some chats here from... When did that? It's about Alan. It's not from today. 1st of February. Must have gone on while we were live on the Alan thing before. What I'm trying to do is just send a test message. Buttons and widgets. I see on my brain in let me work now. Stream alerts. And send a test alert. Okay, it works.
Someone sent tippies. Body Sculpture sent 3 hugs. Nicola was never in that water. She was dragged off that field, murdered within hours and stored. She was put in the river the night before she was found. Her Fitbit data nails it. Just because there's a spike in heart rate does not mean she was in the river. This is horrendous. Super Chuffer owes 5 hugs.
Yes. Yes to everything there. I'm just trying to find a good image to use. I'm going to use this one for the next time. Next time they... Okay, I've got an image for that. Okay. I'm so furious, I can't even get my words out. Nicola was never in the water. She was dragged off the field, murdered, and and stuff. I don't know about whether she was even on the field. You know, maybe yes, maybe all the different ideas are up in the... Now's not my episode to give you my, like, you know, these are things that I think happened. I can't logically critique certain aspects of logic at the moment because I'm so furious. But yeah, you know, agree with general principles. She was put in the river the night before she was found. I do, yeah. Her Fitbit data nails it. Just because there's a spike in heart rate does not mean she was in the river. This is horrendous. Exactly. They said in the thing there was a huge spike in heart rate. They didn't say how much. They've got the details. It was 120 beats per minute, and the Fitbit doesn't measure it by second by second by second by second by second. It measures it in the sort of packet. I don't know exactly the time. Mickey knows all about this, obviously, but there's like a package of time, and it measures a certain amount of time. Like whether it be 5 minutes or something, 10-minute intervals, and during those intervals what it does is it averages the heart rate. So you don't know what her heart rate was at any moment. You know what the average was of a sort of 5 or 10 minute window while it averages it out on the Fitbit. Like, just put the cat out then. Oosh. I'm not being angry with her. She's my cat. I love her. But like, I just popped her out. The documentary made me dismayed too. Thank you, Nick. It was a series of, like, some of them were straight outright lies. And they're going to say, oh, you can't do that. You'll get sued by... No, I'll prove it. Like, the inquest never said that Nicola walked here or did this. It said her phone was here. She was last seen at. Like, and they didn't question, like... So they're all journalists and people, yeah? And they know about, like, I've done this before on the channel, but is eyewitness account good evidence? Is an eyewitness account good evidence? It's not always reliable. Look, Google says it first thing. Not always reliable. It might lead to innocent people being convicted of crimes they didn't commit. How could you... Well, you can't prove that. Yes, I can. Because it's been done. Like, they went to the gas chambers, to the the electric chairs and things like that, based on false witness testimony. That people have been picked out of lineups. That's the man that did that thing to me. And then it turned out, no, that wasn't the man that did that thing to you. You were mistaken because you were having bad things done to you. You were confused. Sorry. Like, it just, no, you can't go on the telly and say, right, well, one person said that he saw her up this path. Right, that's it. Facts. Let's go on now as if that's a fact. Like, what are you talking about? What they did was they tried to create a narrative. They tried to create a story. And that's all they did, is they just fed you a story. And anything they could find that corroborated that and helped with that, they went with that. They didn't have, like, can you believe that they interviewed Nick Ferrari? Like, who's this? Who's this? She's an expert on the police. She used to be in the police. It's got nothing to do with Nicola Bulley. Dan Walker spoke to Paul Ansell. You don't fucking know anything. And if he does, he's an idiot who's, like, misguided, isn't he? Because he's obviously given us a fucking weird idea about it. You don't, like, who are these people they're talking to in this? And for why? They had Nick Ferrari on it, and he's, like, he runs a radio station on the internet. It was, yes, Nick, I agree. It was offensive to Nicola's memory. It was offensive to Nicola's memory. Ali, our human rights and freedom of speech, we've still got all that. The police will fight for our freedom to speak. The police are not to fault here. Let's not forget this. The police have not been trying to shut us down. This is mainstream media. This is the Mirror Group. This is the people who did all the hacking. This is the Murdoch Empire. This is the right wing. This is GB News. This is Boris Johnson. This is, you know, this is all these people, the elites, those people, all in it to try and. They used to be able to confuse and control you because you didn't have phones and you couldn't use the internet. Well, now you can. So they've lost it and they're 10 years behind. I've got to smoke. Smoking ain't going to help this, Robin. Smoking ain't going to help this. This is so disgusting. It's just been done on national television. It's like I've just witnessed a disgusting crime on national television perpetrated by smiling people in suits who run newspapers who think that I should suck their chuffing. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. Offensive to our intelligence, yeah. One of the things I said in the comments, I think that anyone who's been following Nicola Bulley case is going to be enraged by this documentary. They're not going to think it was good. They're going to be enraged by it. Like, why have they made this and who have they made it for? I assume they've made it for the gormless masses who watch Channel 5 and just suck up whatever they're told. But there ain't that many people that are like that these days. There aren't. There aren't. What they've tried to do to those people who are gormless enough is just misconfuse them with the conspiracy theories. Because even those people are anti-establishment, then they, okay, you're gormless and you're anti-establishment. How about some conspiracy theories? How about that? Now you're under our... Got you back in the wing, got you back under the pocket. How about we hate on some immigrants? Now you'll go and vote for Boris Johnson. Why do we hate on the immigrants? Oh, we've got 100,000 people on a boat coming over. You've got 70 million children in poverty. Like, we can afford to ship people in on boats from all of the fucking third world countries. We can afford to. But we're spending the money on bombs and guns to ship out to other countries to blow them all to smithereens. Our own homeless, our own local people can't get... the people get put from boats into hotels. Our own local people can't get somewhere to live. Yeah, it's a housing crisis. It's not about hotels. The hoteliers were sitting on empty hotels. No one was going in holidays to their shitty hotels. No one was going to fucking stay in those hotels down in the beachfront down there, were they? Old dilapidated 1800s buildings from an old time when British people used to holiday in Britain and not go abroad. Right, well, now you've had COVID, now you've had Brexit, maybe use the hotels more. And if you won't, we'll fill them up with immigrants so that our friends can get loads of money. Because the people that run the hotels and own the hotels and own the conglomerates of the hotels, they're actually quite wealthy and they're quite friendly with some of the people in the Conservative Party. So again, it's your taxpayer money going to pay for the rich people to have rich things. You think it's the immigrants on the boats that are getting the good deal. It's the people that run the hotels are getting the money. I mean, for crying out loud. And we're not stupid. You know, people were stupid enough to follow Nigel Farage, weren't they? They were stupid enough to be the turkeys that voted for their own Christmas. We're not stupid. And if you want to be stupid, go and be stupid. Go and watch Channel 5. You know, go and shout at some poor man go and shout at a poor lady in the street who's from another country and angry at her for being poor like you. Yeah, go and do that. It's stupid, this is. It's stupid. Our children are veterans, yeah. Like, we've got 70 million children in poverty, and if they're not putting that at the top of the agenda, and this is a Nicola Bulley episode, so I'm going to get off this now, but, you know, how on earth are you going to complain to me about this little problem and that little problem and the social media and this and that, when obviously what's going on has been absolutely disgusting. Like, the reason the Nicola Bulley case is going like it is because for 10 years they cut the police numbers. And now you can turn to Lancashire Police and say Lancashire Police are bad. Yeah, well, you didn't give them any money for 10 years. So they're not going to do a very good job now, are they? They're underfunded. But they're still good people in the main. And the ones that were really helpful and like diversifying and making it a more inclusive force and better policing for the communities, they've gone. You've had to bin them off because you didn't fund it. Like... Oh. This is the mainstream right-wing. Like, it might as well have been produced by propaganda from the Conservative Party. Like, if you don't understand that GB News or Talk TV or Daily Mail or all of them are in, like, they had clips from the Daily Mail that were called, the video was called Conjecture. They put it in here and complained that the, I've just shown you, I don't know, a minute ago. Like, anyway, they put it in here and they complained that TikTok was doing conspiracies. It was the mainstream media who were doing it. It was Daily Mail. Thank you, Ed, for the 199. Thank you for in agreement. Like, I'm not here to be political. I'm not running a political channel, but everything's political in the words of Skunk and Nancy, huh? And like, if you don't see it under your own nose, it's what? Oh. I think people are here because they do see it. Ray Little, LP was so professional. From what we learned, or I haven't finished the COP report, but from what I learned from the COP report, they were understaffed. They couldn't do the job properly. They didn't have a on-team, they had to have these special people to look into the case. On the first day, they were off up the road looking at some guns in a car. So they didn't have the resources. They didn't have the resources to offer the family liaison. They didn't have enough resources to staff the phone lines. And they went on telly, right? The Channel 5 people did a show. The police should be here, and they should be here, and we should have a phone line, and we should be able to call them. Why are they not here? Why is this not Crime Watch? Why are the police not here? They couldn't do it. They got the money later. They got the people later. When they could do it, they were able to open up that facility, but they couldn't. So instead of going on telly and saying, we don't have the facilities, that looks really bad, people might be worried. Instead of doing that, they just didn't. And Channel 5 should have just delayed that Vanished programme by 4 or 5 days, and then the police could have done it and could have joined in. Instead, Channel 5 knew what they were doing. They said, oh, look, we know the police can't deal with this high volume of calls. Let's pretend that they should have a phone line. They knew what was happening behind the scenes. They knew that. If Ernie would be screaming from the rooftops, Ernie, in my opinion, is potentially complicit in some of the issues that have caused Nicola Bulley to go missing. So, like, that's my opinion based on a video of him driving a truck from years ago. Look on my channel, Ray. Like, you know, if you think Ernie's just some lovely guy who's missing his daughter, then you're not reading into this deep enough. Like, none of their family members, one thing they did say on this, didn't they, is that nobody was getting any information out. Like, oh, there was information. None of the family members wanted to be helpful. Paul Ansell didn't help with the and all. They based all this as well on CCTV that was fake. Fake CCTV. Fake. While I'm at it, let's do that. Let's just go over here and switch account. Let's go Super Chuffer. This is a video I'm going to drop. It's currently members only. I do want to drop it. I've got other videos to drop as well. I've got lots of content to make on this channel, but I'm getting a little bit backed up. But let's just quickly open this. I just want to show it you because, like, while this video, I don't know when this video dropped, but this is currently members content. But it absolutely infuriates me, all of this stuff. And since we're talking, I'll calm down a little bit. We'll skim through some of the documentary and I'll take your questions. But I really want this to be, like, talked about the CCTV. Edit, transform, reset, transform. So you will see in just exactly 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 seconds what I'm talking about here when I zoom this right in. Zoom it right in. She's in front of the G. Of course she's... Sorry, she's behind the G. Of course she's behind the G. The G is part of the Jizzy True Crime Watermarch. It's got to be on top of the everything. But when she pulls away... There's a G underneath. See that jump there? Watch. See the watermark jump from left to right there. There to there. See how the watermark jumps? See the watermark jumps. Right? Bear in mind, you don't notice the watermark jumping on the CCTV that was released because the CCTV that was released has a jump in it because the frame jumps. So I had to pull the frame back. I had to fix it. Like, it's all fucked. You can see it jumping from between these two frames. The watermark goes from there where you can see it really clearly. And what you can see really clearly is this 6 on this brick here. It looks like a 6. It's a G for Jizzy True Crime. Yeah? That's 6. When I move the frame, you see the 6 jumps across over here. His name's not Griselda, it's Gizelda. His name's Jizzy. Oh. The watermark moves, because I fixed that jump in the video. So instead of the video all moving, the stuff in the frame that moves. Can I explain that any better? Do you remember? I'll show you just at the end, after this. The CCTV stutters, comes into frame, and she steps across the 6, and the 6 is gone. And then she steps across into the moved frame where you can see the 6 again. But the 6 was underneath her over here. It's where my mouse is. There. And it's still there when it shifts and she walks over the top. She's walking on top of the watermark. On top of it. Do you understand? Like, that's impossible. I'll show you. Here's a watermark. Sentry's watermark, yeah? You can see it. I'm moving it about. Sentry's watermark. So let's say I watermark my video with Sentry's watermark. I'll make it even clearer for you. Opacity up. Let's say I make my video. That's a watermark. It's on my face. It's on top of the video. So now let's say I do this and somehow my face gets on top of the watermark. How does that happen? I'm Nicola Bulley. I'm walking in my CCTV. There's a watermark on top because Jizzy's put one on there. Fine. So how does Nicola Bulley get on top of the watermark? It's impossible. Right, so that's a video that's going to come out on my channel. And what do you want me to do with this? I'll tell you what I'm afraid of as well, is I'm afraid that I'm going to start running this stream now and they're going to do me for copyright. And then they're going to, you know, this is going to, playing any of this at any length is going to mess with me. But I want to go through it. So this is the first bit. I'll quickly go through it with you like this. Skip, 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 jump, jump, jump. Talk about things in chat, bring up ideas and questions at me, and I'll respond back. I want to deal with your questions as well and your ideas, but I'm absolutely furious. I thought this was one of the worst, out of everything that's happened with the Nicola Bulley case so far, out of every piece of media I've seen. I mean, this is worse than the spirit boxes. At least some of those people with the spirit boxes are legitimately just fucking stone bonkers. Yeah? You know, some of them have got a microphone under a table connected to a radio and are like pretending that they can hear Nicola Bulley, yeah? Like, clickbait. Oh, some of the most extremely bizarre videos get the most views, they said on this. No, some of the most hard-hitting, accurate, well-researched videos get the most views. And you're not doing the research, journalists. You're not digging into it and learning things and putting them out in the public. You're just saying what the sound... Does anyone give me a sound bite, please? I've turned up at the press conference. Where's my sound bite? Right, I'll go and report that so I don't have to do anything. Like, you're not even doing journalism. Mark Williams-Thomas basically shut down. Things on the road get shut down. Mark Williams-Thomas got shut down. Went to the inquest, tweeted about it. I said I respect him. I think he's a good journalist. He's tweeting about the inquest, getting the information out there. Day 2, what happened? Oh, he suddenly got a contract to work on these programs and he's going to be business and... Oh, I see. So you're not going to be doing the good work anymore then? Like, if anyone like appears to be a shill or have drunk the Kool-Aid, it's Mark Williams-Thomas, isn't it? He appears to be a shill. I don't care. I used to respect him. Now I don't. The end. Just got in the bin for me. And this was even more of it. Never seen footage. Selena, where is the never seen footage? Where is the never seen footage? And why am I here as Sentries in my own chat? Can I not come back to my own chat as be me? Live chat. I'm trying to fix my chat now. Pop out chat. Am I me? I'm me again. Can I gift some members? I'm going to gift you all some memberships. I should be able to gift them on my own channel. I just want to gift out some memberships. I should be able to give free ones, but apparently I can't. So I'm just going to buy them. There you go. I'll giving you some free memberships there. And let's make it live chat. Should only do it on Twitch, not worth the risk. Yeah, I agree. We should only do it on Twitch. It is not worth the risk. There's some gifted memberships. I've paid my own money for them. So it's stupid because I get money from members and then obviously YouTube take a cut. And then I've given members and now YouTube have taken a cut. So there's a bit of a money loss on that. But I just want more people to be able to see the members' content. No, I want more people to be able to see the chat above my head. Where's that gone? There it is. Maybe Peter Foldy might want to have a chat with me. I want to have a chat with him, don't I? I've got some questions to ask him, but yeah, you know, no one's going to want to chat with Super Chuffer because Super Chuffer ain't going to lick their balls, is he? Thank you, look. Anyone guess what this is?
Body Sculpture sent tippies. Did you notice at the end Peter Falding declined to be interviewed?
Absolutely.
He could have been interviewed and said, I found her in 6 minutes. I have the data to prove this.
Very interesting.
The police told me not to dive. Bullshit. She was never there by that island. He needs to shut up or put up. Super Chuffer owes 5 hugs.
Very interesting. You see, did he decline to be interviewed? How did they put that to him? Peter, we need you to come in today to do an interview in this location. Otherwise, you know, we're very busy. And Peter said, sorry, I can't make it on that day. I can come in tomorrow. Peter declined to be interviewed. I don't know. Thank you very much, Red Fan, for more gifted memberships. And those of you who are getting those gifted memberships, check out the content in this channel that's members only. I kind of feel like it's real hard for me. I want to give members content because we're getting members, yeah? But I don't want to make things behind a paywall. So sometimes I might do members videos. They'll stay members videos forever. Others might get dropped. Like, they might be members for a bit, they might get dropped later, like the one about the CCTV. And I'll endeavour to create more members content, I will. And there's always things that I don't think I can say on the main channel, so to speak, but I think people could hear that ends up in members. There's a cool video about Gaynor Lord, who went missing as well, didn't she? And stuff like that. So have I calmed down a little, but do you know what makes me most furious about this is the condescension, the being talked down to by the media people who are doing a worse job than we're doing on the internet. And they've got all the money and the degrees and the contacts and, you know, and they're doing a worse job. Like, thank you, Wendy, for the £5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. I've got some of these, right, downloads. I didn't upload everything in the end because what's the point? It's going to get copyright strikes. But, so we can't really, I want to skim through it a bit, but I can't play it much. But I just skim through like this and say, right, so the episode, I did it was in chapters, wasn't it? So first bit was just an overview. And they basically said, like, that she was on the Teams call. There was 30 or 40 people on the call, apparently, says Mark Williams Thomas. They alleged that the Teams call was hung up, was ended, but she didn't end the call and stuff. Like, they talk all this stuff about what Nikki comes out to give her keys to Paul and off they go. They recreate that look. They've got a recreation in the back of the car. Very strange to be doing certain recreations like that, in my opinion. He says Nikki comes out, gives her keys, and off they go to the ring door. Like, hello? That's what Paul said. Nikki comes out, he gave her the keys, and you're saying the doorbell footage fits and proves it. They assert that she says that she texted her friend to do the play date. You don't know Nikki made that text. Anyone could have made that text. You don't know it was Nikki. But now we get an actual fake Nikki, an actress dressed up as Nikki with the phone walking down. Did they walk down the same bit of river? Or is this a bigger river? Because it looks a lot bigger to me here. What's going on with that? You know, it looks much... And there's someone passing her. They must have seen her. Big ups Ocean Blue. Welcome to member. Why would she adjust the volume? The way they showed her adjusting the volume on the recreation literally had her phone on the bench next to her, didn't it? And she pressed the button on it. As I say, we can watch all of this on Twitter. Sorry, on Twitch. We can't watch it all like this here, but... she did this on the... And you don't know that. She could have pressed the buttons on the side. She could have been trying to press the emergency thing where you press all the buttons at once. You don't know what she did. You don't know it's her that did it, but you've recreated it and faked it for your show. which was messed up. Yeah, messed up. And the eyewitnesses that see her, look, who's this that's looking at her? Look how close they are. Look at them looking directly at her. That's exactly how that happened, isn't it? You see someone on your dog walk and you stand there and you look at them like that. Get a good look. And look, from this distance, you can't even see what Nicola looks like. You can't even identify her. Like, so your recreation that's supposed to make it, so certain about what was happening, that doesn't even look right. As far as I'm concerned, eyewitnesses go in the bin now, yeah? Because she can't even see her face. This is the phone on the bench. Look, that was it. That's exactly what happened. Nikki put the phone down on the bench and she adjusted the volume with her hands. In mittens she was wearing, little mittens like that. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you doing this? Faking it. And that's all based on circumstantial evidence. She was recognised, she was seen by people who knew and recognised her. Was she? By people who knew and recognised her. Very vague statement. I suppose you could say that. Which ones and where? And how accurate were those? Because when you just recreated it there and we saw her from a distance, it was like I couldn't tell who that was. So you shouldn't be doing this. This is disgusting. She's dead. That's someone acting as Nicola Bulley. When did they film this? Who did they hire to play her? Why is this person stood? And later on, they have the man in black stood behind her on the bench, don't they? Which I thought, I cannot believe they've done that. Was someone stood behind her on the bench? Was there a man in black? We don't know, because we put a picture of him to make it look like there was. A bit later that comes, but oh my god. At 9:33 a phone was still connected. You know, certain bits of phone data were getting given. Then you get Paul. Where's our extra footage of Paul? I'll tell you what, alternative documentary. You could have made this exact documentary without any extra footage. I could have made it by just editing what's been on the news about Nikki already. Because all it was what everyone's already said on the news. But they shot it in a nice room with Mark Williams Thomas with a nice light behind him. And instead of having them in the studio, it's the same as the Vanished programme, but instead of having them in the studio, now they're in a nice room with a nice light behind them. Nice focal length. Like, get in the bin. I'll tell you what annoys me about it as well, is I work in creating documentary. I've done documentary work. And I strive for a higher standard than this. I know it's Channel 5 and it's just a bit of throwaway stuff on Channel 5, but I strive for a higher standard than this. It's someone's life. They're messing with you on the telly. That's all. Messing with you, aren't they? You're right, all in chat. Has anyone got anything you want to ask me? Sorry if I was so cross at the start. I'm not sorry about banning Curtis Media because I haven't made a thing of it. But today I was cross and I did today. But it's my ethics. It's my honest ethics, and I'm not having it. You know. I care about animals. I care about people, and I don't care if they're from foreign countries. I still care about them. And the idea that we should all just look inward and ignore other people that are suffering is an absolute disgrace. And to highlight their suffering and to make videos about it because you're auditing the hotel. Don't start me on it. Don't start me on it. Don't start me. Passionate. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I think anger is anger. And I think you can pretend and hide that I'm being passionate. And that's just a way of manipulating the idea that I'm angry. And when people tell me they're passionate and they're actually being angry at me, I feel like they're offending me because they're trying to discount the fact that I'm upset by their anger. Oh, it's just passion, it's not anger. So fuck that. No, this is anger. I'm legitimately angry. I am passionate about this, but I am angry about this. I'm angry about stuff. I had to watch an hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes, an hour, and loads of adverts of this shit. And then I jump on my stream and I'm not having people who do horrible things on my streams. I'm just not having it. So, that's that. Yeah. I didn't want to make it a big thing. I should have done it offline, quietly just blocked him offline or something. But the Nicola Bulley stuff, I was all on board. Let's see all the footage. All that's not still out there, is it? So, it's not. I'm not interested in what's going on with that channel anymore. And my shows are not political. I'm not doing political shows about that stuff either. So, I'm not suddenly a lapdog of the right wing, am I? No thanks. Alright, so they're saying there's no obvious signs Nicola fell in. No. No footprints. No. The dog wasn't wet. No. And so later on, they assert, and this annoys me, right? Because in the COP report, Yes, agreed. They should have taped off the crime scene. There's no crime. It's not a crime scene. The fucking policewoman on this calls it a crime scene. She says they should have taped off the crime scene. It's not a crime scene. There's no crime. Dummy, you're a police. Why are you saying that? Are you saying there is a crime or that there's not a crime? I agree they should have taped off the bench, shouldn't they? What they did was they got the police down there straight away. The first SIO, who was the one on duty, the one on call, they went down, they looked at it all, and they said, no, I don't think this is a crime scene. There's no evidence here of a struggle. There's no evidence here of anything to be worth forensically tracking, so we're not going to tape this off. So they didn't think it was a crime scene because they didn't think there was a crime. That restricts their hand. The only other way they could tape it off, and listen, I'm in agreement, we should tape that off, and we should forensically check that area, yes. But the only way they can do it is if they, A, think there's been a crime, and they don't. And B, they could have done this, Scotty Hottie looked it up, if they thought it was a safety issue. And it was, because they thought someone was dead in the river. So if someone had fallen in there and been dead, then they should tape it off because it's dangerous. So they had the idea, like, I don't know how they didn't think of this and just say, we are taping it off. It's not a crime scene because we can't officially do that, but we are taping it off for public safety. And no, you can't go down there and run around and record things. It's unsafe. Someone might have died. That would have been easy. And then later on, they could have gone with the forensics if they felt so. But like the other thing that no one said is, why didn't they do that with Paul Ansell's house? When was the last time you saw Nicola Bulley alive? Any of us? I mean, I've never met her. Thanks, Red Fan, for the 5 gifted super. I'm thanking you, and I'm angry. Should I press one of my buttons to try and cheer me up? Should I press some buttons? What buttons have I got here that might cheer me up? Okay, I'm better now. Thank you for the gifted memberships. And all you chuffers, get and watch some of that members content. Get your chops around that. And if anyone wants to ask me direct questions, of course you can super chat me, or you can just at me in chat and I'll see it. Okay. The idea of taping off the crime scene. The last time, when did anyone see her last alive? Corroborated, fact. Seen her alive, fact. So we've got an eyewitness says they saw her at the school. Okay, if I'm Inspector Morse, am I going on that? All right, feet up, job done. Eyewitness said they saw her at the school. But eyewitness accounts, testimonies, they're not even reliable. Not even reliable. Any good police is going to say that. You're dealing with the general public, and the general public will apparently believe any old shit they see on the telly. So, like, come on. Come on, big ups Hobbs. I'm doing a Brian today, aren't I? I'm doing my biggest Brian ever now. I'm having a right rant. I've just had to watch this on the telly. Like, coming from the same mainstream... I'm wearing my t-shirt today, look. Have you seen Shannon Matthews? Doing more tramadol than Alan Vinicum under that bed. No, I joke. Alan does more tramadol than Shannon Matthews. Look, the mainstream media are responsible for all of this conjuring and all of this nonsense for years. That's all they ever do. The people on here that were employed by the fucking Daily Mirror and the Sun. You know, are you having this? You could mug me off on my own home. I'm in my own home and you're going to just mug me off to my face, yeah? Experts from the Daily Mirror, experts from the Sun. Justice for the 97, the phone hacking. Get in the bin. Go and get in the bin. Climb right in the bin, close the lid, wait for the collection. You're useless to us. No one's buying your crappy newspapers anymore. People still buy your crappy newspapers because they've got to go and sit in a works van on the way to the roofing job. And like they want to look at some like adult comic for a bit and then use it to stuff in some gaps before they do the muck over the hip tiles. Like they're not really buying your newspapers anymore, and you're sad because people are getting more. All this information's out there quicker than you can do it, faster than you can do it. It took you a year to come up with this. People have done this on YouTube overnight, talking about this. You've lost control of the narrative. The police don't control the narrative. They're the police. They go in and police things. They're not out to control narratives. They do press conferences to try and find bad people, to try and elicit response from the public to get information so they can solve crimes. And then they solve the crimes, and then the crimes are sent to the court, and the court do the judgment, and no one gives a fuck about controlling the narrative in the public, because that's not what they're there for. It's a justice system. But the only people who really care about controlling the narrative in the public are the media. And they're the ones that are doing all this crying about controlling the narrative in the public. The police should have controlled it more. The TikTokers took our monies. And like this woman, who, bless her, you know, thank you for being a police for all that time. And thank you, Mark Williams-Thomas, for all your service. But ultimately, you're just people who want to get on telly now. And the telly's the old thing. It's in the bin. Peter Folding wrote a book and he's going to be on Channel 5. No one give a fuck. This is 2024. People are on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're on like the internet, making their own platforms and doing very well, thank you very much. The world has changed. We don't need these tired dinosaurs telling us what to think anymore. And they don't like it. And that's this episode of the Nicola Bulley case. So she says that. Then we've got the police going to talk to Paul. He was the last person to see her. So they didn't do the house as a crime scene. We've said it in the COP report. We've looked at that. Okay, I'll take questions as they come. What about the man in the red coat and the woman in the red coat? Specifically, there are people that we've seen on CCTV on Allotment Lane, because there's a house on Allotment Lane that had CCTV. And those people needed to be known to the police to make their evidence known about when they were there and what they saw. If you went on a dog walk or you were in a park and one of your near like, imagine now you go right, like, for no, not now because it's dark, but you go to the park and there's someone that's in your local area that you sort of like have heard of. They're walking in a coat that's distinct. I mean, what does it even matter? Really, what does it even matter? People are far too bogged down in the Nicola Bulley case with what happened on that day. Was she on that bench? What happened with her phone? 10 minutes to this, 3 minutes to that. This man was here. This person was there. Even if they were there, they can't tell you what they saw and it accurately stand up in court as super evidence. It's not. It's just people's eyewitness accounts. They're not that good. They're vague. I don't know the time now. If you ask me right now, right, let's say a helicopter, let's say Peter Folding's helicopter crashes into my house now, and you want me to give you the exact time that it happened. I can't, because I haven't looked at the clock for like, I don't know how long. I'm going to give you a guess. We started this stream about 10:30. I've been ranting for an hour. Maybe it's about 11:30. The time is 23:14. So I'm wrong by about 16 minutes, yeah? So that's wrong by about 16 minutes. But people are pedantically doing she was here at this minute, and then this eyewitness was here at this minute. People just get things wrong. So all of that isn't that useful. It's been not that useful for over a year now. For nearly a year, hasn't it? And what has people found by studying the bench and studying the thing and studying the lead? Not really that much. Only about as much as we learned in the first 3 weeks of studying it, really. What really has to happen to solve a case, and the police know this, the police are good. I bet they've been doing this behind the scenes, is you look into the people that are involved, their histories, their relationships. It's not about what happened on the day. It's about what happened the day before, the week before, the month before, the year before, 6 years before, 20 years before in the case of Ernest Bulley and Peter Folding. You've got to look at these relationships. You've got to look at the way that people live their lives and what they're involved in. You've got to follow money. You can't just say, it's likely that some woman just got pushed in the river. Let's find the man in black. God, glad that was solved. It's been just like an Agatha Christie. Like, it's not that. And I've got stuff that I'm still to show on this channel, still stuff that I've been digging around, thinking about, looking at, still links to make. I believe there are links that I could make further if I was an investigative journalist or a police, and I believe there's a limit to what I can do. And I'm fine with that, I'm happy with that. I'm not trying to solve the case and be Taggart. I'm not Vera. But I think that the police involved in this case were very interested and did a good job of researching some of this, and they found out some stuff that we don't know. And they had a real good hard go at trying to catch some real bad people. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. They couldn't quite find the evidence, so they had to move on. And for some of them, it was like the career end case. It was like, let me have one good go at catching this bad person, because I know they're out there doing this bad stuff. I know they're part of a network. I've been working on it for years, some of these police, and they couldn't quite get that, nailed. So how did the woman in the yellow coat get around the field with the pushchair and the dog? I don't know. I don't know. Follow the cash, yes. Good question. Why didn't they mention Peter Folding bombshell? They didn't. In this, the people that made this documentary are friends with Peter Folding. They had him on the fucking channel. He was on Vanished. Yeah? Like, whether they're friends with him now or not, They've used him in their own footage. Everyone else was back. Mark Williams-Thomas, that policewoman. The only one that's not is Peter Faulding. So there is some stuff I could think about more deeply and have a good think about in their motivations. But ultimately, the more they smear Peter Faulding, the worse they look, because they had him on as their own expert. So they're not going to throw him completely under the bus, are they? They're going to very gently just move around Peter Faulding because it makes them look bad. Whatever they say. If they say he's good, then they look bad. They say he's bad, they look bad. So let's try and not talk about him as much as possible. They even had an actor to play him in this for like one shot, which was a waste of everyone's time and money, if you ask me. Who went down to the river and pretended to be Peter Faulding wearing a jacket so he could shoot him out of focus so he could put it in the documentary? What a waste of time and money. Does that elevate this from just the same as YouTube? Because all that's in this is videos from YouTube, people from YouTube talking. The people that are talking in it already talked about it on a TV show, said everything already. There's nothing new at all. The only way you can elevate it as a piece of media above mainstream, like, why is this not a YouTube video instead of a Channel 5 documentary? Oh, we got a drone out and we filmed Nicola. We pretended that she was in the thing and we got an actress to film her. Oh, so that makes it better, does it? No, that's what you think makes it better because you're making television from the 1990s. Now go and get in the bin. Like, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. The GoFundMe wasn't mentioned. Good shout, Blind B. The GoFundMe wasn't questioned. Like, they asked a couple of questions. They said, oh, there was all this conjecture on social media and people wanted to know all this. And then they very quickly said, nah, but it was bollocks. She fell in the river at the end, so shut up. They didn't delve into any of the ideas. They didn't open any of these boxes. They're supposed to be journalists. And the one woman said, why didn't the police give us inside information off the record so that we could say what we wanted? Like, what are you talking about? Why didn't you go out and do all your journalist job, and find out all the stuff we've been finding out? How come you didn't know about the history between Peter Faulding and Ernest Bulley, which is, as far as I'm concerned, my opinion, is documented in video? Thank you very much. I've done a special episode, Nicola Bulley Solved. Like, how come you didn't delve into Paul Ansell's financial irregularities and past? How come you didn't just delve into the relationships between these people and Emma White and her relationships, because she's big in on it? How come you didn't delve into the gin distillers and who used to own those companies and the big other connections that are out there with that? Like, how come you're not doing your job mainstream? Because you're busy doing this, making a hack job documentary on Channel 5. Like, come on. I'll admit, listen, Lydia Livingston, Channel 5 News, bigfan.com. Lydia Livingston, 5 News, bigfan.com. I love her. I think she's great. But everything else on Channel 5, shit. No one watches it. Go in the bin. We've got the internet now. We don't need Channel 5 or 6 or 8 or 10. We hardly ever watch Channel 3 and 2 and 1. Like, we've got the internet now. You're on it. Everyone here is watching it, and the people that made this telly program put it on the internet. I watched it on the internet. In the bigger picture behind the scenes, regardless of the Nicola Bulley case, regardless of that, bigger picture behind the scenes, you've got giant media companies with lots of money who are losing the battle to social media on a daily basis regarding views, regarding current affairs, regarding pushing the narrative. Because the way they used to shape the narrative was, right, if we've got a story, the Nicola Bulley story, right, we can spread this out for 6 weeks. Like with Madeleine McCann, they were able to plan their uploads. Do you know what I mean? They didn't have uploads, there were no internet. They're able to plan their editorials. In a few months we can release this data. In a few months after that, like the new toothbrush comes out every 6 months, but they know they've got like 10 years of toothbrushes all planned and ready. Do you know what I mean? But now they can't do that because people on social media find something out and bang, it's in the public eye. Bang, it's out there. They're all talking about it. Wait, I wanted to tell you about it and I wanted you to pay me money to tell you about it. Don't matter, we don't need you. So you've got this big, and on top of that, you've got people who don't trust the media and they're being manipulated by the media themselves and the right wing, pretending that they're doing conspiracies like Chris's Substack. Like, there's so much diffuse nonsense now, right? And the media have lost complete control of it. They are narrative. The media is narrative. They tell stories. That's all they do. They go and they report on, they call them stories. Have you got a new story for the news desk? Yes, here are the facts. Well, I don't want bare facts. You need to dress it up a bit. Use some nice emotive language. Say it in this way. Like, bare facts don't sell. And what stories have you brought me? Well, that's a boring story about the economy or about children in poverty. It might be the damn truth, but we're not going to sell many stories with that. Why don't you go and look at this instead? Like, oh. So I hate it so much. It represents something that I've found disgusting all my life. I was lucky enough to study sociology. If anyone's watching and they're younger than, you know, able to choose their GCSEs, they're not, because I don't get that demographic really. But, you know, if you're choosing, or if you know someone that's choosing their GCSEs or their A-levels in this country, advise, say, have you heard of sociology? Have you heard of psychology? They're the toolkit. I did sociology, psychology and economics A-level and went on to degree. And that's the toolkit for learning. That's the same toolkit that the people Newsgate, gatekeeping, like they studied it, they wrote theses on it. I understand it. I hate it. Like, we don't need it anymore. We've got the internet. And yet they're still doing this. Yet they're still doing this. So, yeah, so they did this. Mark Williams Thomas. They said there was dash cam footage that could be of use. The police were looking for her. And is that the police looking for her? Or is that a new shot you've got of some police from stock footage to go in your documentary? Nobody knows. Like, the fact that you've interspersed these shots with faked images makes it awful. You should have either stuck to just real images and you should have credited each one when it was up on the screen, or you should have just done it all as like recreation, and it should clearly say recreation on the screen. Weren't very clear about that. Not very good media. Not very good. Right, next video.
Found nearby.
Oh, shush you, wait. Rather than, I'm just going to show you them from my media player, so I'm just going to quickly get media player up. Just going to quickly get media player up. Fucking ranting I am. I'm ranting. I don't care either. Like, it is what it is. I'm a human. I'm disgusted and appalled. They're the words I'd use. Disgusted and appalled. Like, you know, when they rate TV programs and they, like, you know, give it a little rating.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Cheryl X sent tippies. Super Chuffer owes 6 hugs.
Thank you. The money calms me down. Did you notice what the clip was? Anyone got in chat? I didn't. That's our little quiz for the day. Did anyone notice what the clip was that I've used for the tippies? It's a joke. This is Spinal Tap on The Simpsons. Because this documentary was about as good as This Is Spinal Tap as far as I'm concerned. So this is the second chapter. And in this chapter, what goes on... actually, I need it uploaded for the subtitles, don't I? They get Nick Ferrari out. Who the fuck is he? Runs a radio show. LBC Radio, Nick Ferrari. Let me just check. LBC, Nick Ferrari. Am I saying that... This is on YouTube, yeah? Let me just check. This is on YouTube, yeah? They've got a YouTube channel. And they do YouTube content. So they're social media, yeah? Or do they broadcast on mainstream media and then upload to social media as well? You're just doing social media. If you don't have YouTube, you've got nothing, huh? Like, you really want this YouTube content. It's all YouTube content. You're getting the views, the numbers, the clicks. You can't tell me that you don't use YouTube and you're not a social media content creator. Even if you're just clipping your mainstream content and putting it on social media. Sky News does social media. They've got a full YouTube channel. They do social media. So you can get in the bin if you say, oh no, but we're the mainstream. I don't care. You're on social media and you've got a channel. It's equal here. You're not someone special because you're Sky News. If you've got a TikTok, you've got a TikTok. If you've got a YouTube, you've got a YouTube. You're YouTubers. You're social media. And what do you know about the Nicola Bulley case, Nick Ferrari? Fuck nothing. You're sat in a studio listening to people rant about immigrants and shit. Like, get in the bin. Just go in the bin. It's absolutely bizarre. You all alright in chat? Big up Scale Hall, that's about making money. The media across, because they had predicted their money. On YouTube, you're not like... I didn't expect as many people to watch my stuff about Nicola Bulley. I had no expectation of making money off it. And obviously I want to make my career in media, making money on YouTube, yeah. But I'm not using this as like a ring it out and try and make money out of it. And I won't, you know, I can't stand for that accusation because it's ridiculous of me. But some people are, of course. And the ones that have been doing that forever are the mainstream media. And what they were cross with is not the numbers that they lost, the amount of viewers. And that, obviously all of that stuff makes them cross. But imagine how many papers they thought they were going to sell. They thought they were going to sell. And imagine how they didn't, you know. The bin is full. We need the bin empty, don't we?
Disgusting!
So what am I looking at now? Nick Ferrari maybe furious, if anything. This bunch of cretins, this lot. You know, I don't disrespect all of them completely, but like the fact, why is it this collection of people that are the big storytellers on this? A few of the mainstream media. One of them worked for The Sun. Like, why did we need to hear that? That was brilliant. Look, this is fake Peter Folding. They've got a fake Peter Folding that they've filmed. And it's not real Peter Folding. We just needed a couple of shots of behind him, so we could use that. Then there's the real Peter Folding in the boat. But you wouldn't know which one's which, would you? Because they don't make it clear. So that's bizarre and shit. They fake up this Peter Folding interview sequence, and then they show the real interview with Peter Folding. So that's bizarre and weird, isn't it? Like, why did they do that? That's a fake Peter Folding. If I was Peter Folding, I'd be angry about that. And then there's the real Peter Folding. And they don't really go into much detail on that, do they, about Peter Folding? And the details of the sonar. Like, they didn't even go into any details about sonar and this or that. It looks really flooded when they're doing these filmings, and I don't know whether that's from the day or from a different river or anything.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish! And then whoosh!
J-Boy Watson sent tippies. Not going to lie, really enjoying Angry Wounded Chuffer for some reason, but not sexually. Don't be getting your hopes up. I'm the ladies' man, Val Venus.
Big ups, Joe Boy.
Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
King Mimpin chat. Big ups. If you want a bed and you're in the do I say where you are? I suppose I don't want to say your specific address or anything, but you're in the sort of northwest area. Get online and search for Supreme Beds. Big shouts out. Like, they don't pay me to say that. They have tried to pay me to say that, but I just think it's nice to be nice. So big up Supreme Beds. Yeah, you like Angry Chuffer. I could do more Angry Chuffer. There's just like there's stuff I don't feel very happy about, and instead of turning on the internet and ranting about it, I generally tend to like let my feelings pass and decide when I'm not so hot to talk about it. But in this one, I had to jump on after. I promised I would, and I sat there watching it, and you know, I've just been exposed to all this, and now I'm cross. What else do you want me to do and say? It's so weird.
I just didn't seem to realise how huge this had become.
Like, she's saying they didn't realise how huge this had become. Like, we're going to have to go through piece by piece what they all said on Twitch, like I said, but...
But police are also tackling an invasion of amateur sleuths.
We get this. Obviously, I can't... You know, we get the invasion of amateur sleuths now, and how terrible it is. This one made me fucking furious.
Online sleuths.
The TikTokers were basically banned.
The TikTokers, like, the police did do a dispersal order, didn't they? But absolutely disgraceful here, because you're looking at, who's she? North of England correspondent, Channel 4 News. I like Channel 4 News. She was the least worst one, I'll be fair. But they cut her, and they made her say whatever they wanted her to say, really, because they just cut her into short sound bites. Another really important thing about this documentary, right, was that, talking about, yeah, don't become like Alex Jones, yeah. Talking about scripted, yeah, like, I don't think this Nicola Bulley disappearance was scripted insofar as someone scripted her disappearance and then scripted how things would go, and we're watching a psyop and they're all actors. I think that's nonsense. But what I do think is when the press turned up on the scene, they said, right, missing lady, blonde, we can go with this. And on the first day, these people weren't there. Like, Channel 4 News weren't there on the first day. It was people from the Lancashire Post and the like St Michael's Inquirer or whatever, you know, the local news. And this is how the news works. The local news will turn up in the local stories, unless you're like London, or, you know, unless a plane crashed into the Twin Towers. The local news will report on the local news, local crime, local everything, and then that will be logged in the Reuters, the systems. You know, they're not all independent, are they? work for Murdoch Enterprises and Sky. You know, Sky then go on the aggregator and say what's popular in the local news, what's interesting. Oh, there's a story in the local news in the northwest. Never eat shredded. In the northwest that this woman's gone missing, and so then they'll pick that up, and they'll pick it up from the local news, and they'll literally copy paste what was written in the Lancashire Post. You know, they'll literally copy paste. One news reporter will post something, and all of the different news outlets will copy and paste it. You've seen it online, and like, so it becomes then mainstream news. That didn't happen here until like a week in. Like, it was the 2 or 3 days went past in the first weekend. The local news didn't even, like, there was one report. Then there was that car park news press conference with just local news, really, and then it started to open out, didn't it? So this idea that yeah, some of the river pics did look wrong. I think they're fake from something else, but yeah, this idea it's all scripted, right, is that the mainstream news get hold of this and they say, right, how should this script run when we write the stories? Because they write stories. They don't go out and find information, think about what the truth is and how to tell you this. They say, right, this has already got a template. We've had Madeleine McCann. We've had other people go missing. We've got a template for this. Pretty blonde woman, public, and then like we'll point at the spouse, and in this case the CCTV. Right, I'll just accept the CCTV's real. Then that's fine. Just do that. Like they just like they don't look into it and do a deep look. Instead, they write their own stories from their own narratives they already have like lined up because they're lazy. Like, that's my opinion anyway. So I think, yeah, some of this is scripted, but insofar as the mainstream news give you what they think makes the story and makes a good story, and then they don't realise that other people have got different ideas, and that's the way it works. I don't think that this is like a psyop. It's silly to think that there's so many people involved in an act altogether. It's silly to think that. But you're not, the reason that you think it's these things is because you're not seeing the truth, because the family didn't try and tell you the truth. No one's come out and told you a big history of Nicola. Like, the only stuff you've heard about Nicola is what people have been able to scrape together on social media. Like, no one's come out and said, like, right, Nicola was born in, and she grew up here, and this was her first boyfriend, and this was her second partner, and she used to be married to this man, if she did or not, I don't know. Chris seems to think she used to be married to someone. But, like, you know, there's, like, why not all this backstory and this reality, this filling in of the truth? Why not all this give you every detail? Because if anything could help, like if I was looking for Nikki and I was her partner or her family, I would say, right, first off, I know this isn't nice to hear, but she's got ex-partners and she might see them. I know that Paul's not going to like that, but she might. She's a list of friends that she's very close with. Like, could she be with them? Like, there's loads of people who could be not put under suspicion, although the police would maybe put them under suspicion, but we could learn about the truth, you know, and about motives. But instead we get Nicola lived, and this was in this documentary as well, Nicola lived somewhere else and then she moved to St. Michael. She had kids and she was happy. Right. So, she's disappeared. Like, you know, where's the journalism? Where's the facts? Where's the truth? Where's the... It's not like, you know, we're trying to lie and create fake narratives, but there is no, like... I don't know, yeah, so the PSYOPs idea anyway, I'm not having that. I don't think it's PSYOP, and that sort of talk around here will get sort of binned off. I've looked into it, I've been giving it enough credence to be, say, you know, I'm a grown-up, I'll look at what you're saying, but it doesn't hold water, it doesn't go that far. It doesn't go that far. It's more likely that there are bad people behind the scenes.
I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then whoosh.
Joe Boy Watson sent tippies. Jokes aside, tonight is a special occasion, a full year of probably my favourite YouTube channel,
Big ups.
and although my wife hates your voice constantly playing, big up the channel. Met some great people in this community too. Here's to the 100k journey, big up MIMPS.
Thank you.
Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
If you want, I could change my voice. I was looking into it. You can get quite easy and quite sophisticated voice changing software on the internet these days. Stuff that I literally just talk in the microphone like I'm doing now, and it just sounds different when it comes to you at the end. So maybe I'll investigate that. It's an interesting aspect, isn't it, of online content these days, knowing who people are. But this is actually my voice. I am actually ranting. I'm glad about the... Like, tell you what's interesting as well, though. Like, I'm taking your question. If you're atting me in chat, I'm replying to you. So, I'm glad we have Super Chuff covering other YouTubers. Yeah, I'm glad about that. But I'm also glad... I'm also worried that it's a Wild West. and that there are some people that are out for good reasons. Like, ultimately, the thing I care about most here, and I'll be honest, I'll be really honest, like, I'm not here on a crusade for Nicola Bulley. Like, I'd never met her. Like, I don't love her. I love everyone to a certain extent, but I don't love her. I've never sat next to her on the bus. Like, she just represents to me any other view, any of us. She could be my sister, my mother, my cousin, you know, the person down the road. She represents all of us. Like, the fact that a crime could go on like this, and it could go, like, when I saw, for me, Paul Ansell did the interview on telly. You all know this. I did the body language react. And that's what kicked it off for me, is watching people who appear to be liars on the telly appear to tell lies and pulling that apart. And then it went, you know, it spiraled like that. But I care, and I care about the truth, and I care about society, and I care about manipulation, and I care about the fingers of the government and the, you know, the loss of our human rights, you know, and all that stuff. I do care about that. I don't feel like I can control it or I can like affect it. Like, we had all that Brexit debate and all that stuff. That's gone, hasn't it? Like, you know, hooray when we discard the European Court of Human Rights. Will be hooray. But, like, you know, I'm not here to do politics. I just think, you know, she's prejudiced against Brummies. Maybe it's that. But it's not ranting. It's called passionate. We had that earlier, Jamie. I don't want to hide behind that. I want to pretend that I'm passionate and not accept that I'm angry. Like, I think I'm angry. Do you know what I mean? I think they've wound me up. That's what I think they've done. They've, like, anyone like us, they've wound right up. And what's really bizarre to me as well, I'm getting my points out in really funny orders, and, like, obviously, like I say, we'll go through every frame on Twitch and talk about it without the copyright worries, and then I'll upload that to YouTube, and I'll get hit by copyright, and then I'll fight it, fair use, and then we'll see how it happens. Yeah, but it won't take my channel down that way. But yeah, like the good work that's been done on YouTube. Now, if you're going to make a Nicola Bulley documentary a year later, The Disappearance That Gripped the Nation, and to not mention why it gripped the nation because of all these ideas. Oh, they thought Paul had done it, but he hadn't. That's not it. There's deeper layers. Like, to not even, like, I presented some well-researched, I'm not going to, you know, it's not all about me, but some well-researched, I can't talk for everyone, can I? But for me, I presented some well-researched stuff there. Like, I went into some detail about some background stuff. You didn't mention any of it. Didn't even mention YouTube once. It was all TikTok, and we know TikTokers are just dancing lunatics who run around digging up holes by the river, like Peter Folding. Like, sorry, he was running around digging holes, wasn't he? So, not running, digging holes, like. So they didn't address the real, like, big ups, saying that I'm addressing all our feelings, Lisa Ann. They didn't address our feelings, did they? They said the public got the wrong idea through TikTok. But we have our feelings. Like, the public, this was another one that really made me angry, and we just skimmed over it, is that the public turned up. We're just about to talk about it, aren't we? The public turned up, and they were using their phones to record things. How dare they? Well, it's the public. It's a public space. How dare you tell anyone they can't do that? Oh, there were too many people. There weren't. It's a small village and their privacy. I don't care. I just don't care. Like, the small village does not have an intrinsic right to privacy. If 100,000 people want a village jaunt tomorrow, they can go. There might become logistical issues, and then you might have to, for public safety, deal with logistical issues. This wasn't Glastonbury. This was about 30 or 40 committed people wandering around a small village. Oh, they broke into, trespassed. Trespass is not a criminal offence. They broke into an abandoned property. It's an abandoned property. We couldn't have them endangering. Just go, just get back in the car, get and go back to the police station and go and do some police work. If the public are wandering around and using their mobile devices to record things, then leave them to it, because they are the general public and it's quite within their damn rights. That's a non-issue. Tell you who it matters to, the newspapers. They're the only people who suffer in that instance, the newspapers. You can't control the narrative on social media, because that's the social public talking. You can't control the narrative. There's no there is, of course, a government approved, marketing department that's there to control the narrative and propaganda. There is, of course, GB News that's pumped out to try and control the narrative and propaganda. There is, of course, the whatever battalion or whatever they were called, that's the army that works in, Russian people are trying to control our narrative by infecting our social media. And so, it does operate on those levels, yeah. But it's not your responsibility, the news, and it's not your responsibility, the police, or anyone's, to control what happens on TikTok in terms of what people think about public things. Big ups Unity calling. There weren't that many there, apparently, yeah. It does get blown out of proportion. And like I said, it simply isn't Glastonbury. And even if it was. Like, I live in a tourist town, yeah? People come to my town to go and watch the theatre and stuff. And nobody gets angry when busloads of people turn up. They're just people. They walk around with their phones. They take photographs outside tourists. You can't fuck them off. Like, they're from other countries and everything. Oh my God. Immigrants from other countries coming in on boats and taking photographs of our tourist destinations. Like, you just got to accept it. If you want to be treated like a human being with human rights as well, you've got to exert, like, interesting that Curtis Media was saying about, because he was on the ground there doing this. Like, if you want your human rights to be respected, then you should respect everyone else's, shouldn't you? Human rights. I sound like Brian's mother. They're not the police. They're very naughty boys. Well, the police are the only ones. I'm the only YouTuber out there now that's not throwing the police on. I'm not the only one. I'm just saying, I'm not throwing the police under the bus here. After extensive looking into it, I've come to the conclusion that the police were probably doing a very difficult job, that they were under-resourced, and I don't think they were trying to hide and cover and fake. I think they were trying to bust some deeper, darker people, and they didn't get enough. They didn't get close, so they had to walk away. This got beyond them. The people that were involved covering it up were Peter Folding, maybe the family. Like, in my opinion, sorry, don't want to get slander and whatever, but Peter Folding, well, it's not slander. He came out and said that she wasn't in the river, and then he later on said that she was in the river. So one of those things is a lie, and one of those things covers something else, covers the other. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it. You were either lying and covering it up when you were doing your public interviews, and then later you're telling the truth, or later you're trying to cover it up about what you said earlier being a lie. So it's just rubbish, right? We talked about Chris's Substack earlier, Super Sleuth. Chris's Substack has some interesting information to put forward, but as I said earlier, it's just designed to send you down a rabbit hole and then sell you some nonsense. So just stay off that. It's just a slippery slope to some nonsense. People with ultra conspiratorial minds are trying to get you confused, separate you from the main people, separate you from your friends and your family, so you even argue with them about whether the Earth's flat or Joe Biden's a robot. And when you're down that road, they can sell you a healing plan, a wealth plan for €700 and shit. It's just, stay away from that. Stay away from that. Stay alive, stay awake, stay woke, stay switched on. Don't fall into the conspiracy trap. Don't go too far down that rabbit hole, because it is designed, like, the right wing and the people that want to control the narrative and all that, they see it happening. People don't believe us. People are against the mainstream. Right, well, let's give them an alternative. Let's give them what they want. And let's use it ourselves. So before people find out the truth, let's give them a conspiracy. So, that's my opinion on that now. So I'm not going to have people shouting it out all the time in my chat. And there were other YouTubers down there. Yeah, of course there were. There should be. Why shouldn't there be? Why? Also, what about this? The fucking Sky News set up a gazebo and went round with a drone while Kay Burley and that dude walked round. They set up a gazebo. Why have they got special privilege? They're members of the public too. Just because you work for a newspaper doesn't mean you can set up a gazebo and I can't. If you can do it, I can do it. They're the press. So, I'm the press. I've got a fucking right to say things and publish them. Okay, we're all the press now. We've all got a YouTube channel now. You shut up just because my newspaper's smaller than yours. I don't care. I'll write it down in a piece of paper. I'll publish it. Fine, now I'm the press. Get in your box. Get in your box. Big ups Astra is just joining us. It's not good enough, is it? If you're just joining us, I can't show extensive images and video from it because they will copyright strike me, but I will be doing a full review on Twitch. What I'm doing here today is having a massive rant about how awful it was. Channel 5 disgrace. I'll tell you what, I've got a terrible thumbnail as well. for today's episode. A really bad thumbnail, but I might take that as a thumbnail. I'll look for a thumbnail while I'm doing it. And I'm going to change my title, actually, because I'm so enraged that I think my title and my thumbnail don't express it well enough. So screenshots, let's change that. And the title, Nicky Bulley, Channel 5, The Disappearance Review. Review, I just put rage in big letters after that. It's a really long title. I'm going to take that Channel 5 bit out of the title, copy that out there. Channel 5 mockumentary. I have to put documentary for the search, but I want to say mockumentary. Mockumentary. That was a shambles, an absolute shambles. Refreshments in a gazebo for Kay, yeah. Absolute shambles. I mean, I agree with what you're saying about Curtis Media getting, like, it's not that he got too close and they don't like that, right? It's that he was making a nuisance of himself. Like, you've got to accept that as well. At the same time as you think, as I agree, people should be going and filming, there are limits and there are ways and behaviours. And Curtis has got a previous criminal record, hasn't he? I don't want to be lies and slander here. From what I can understand, he's already known to the police, and then he's got people calling up the police in this little village saying, "There's a man in my garden filming me." Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got people calling the police on him, so they're instantly going to check their records, see that he's got a record, and go and start to deal with it. Like, and when he turns up again and again, and they give him, like, okay, like, you're going to have to stop doing so much of this, instructions or whatever. Like, he's breached certain, like, they've dealt with him as an example, but not just as an example, as a particularly dangerous rogue element of the members of the general public. I mean, look what he went on to do with his auditing. So, like, particularly difficult for them to deal with him. I don't know how polite and, you know, engaging he was with the police, and I don't know about exactly where he went and when. Like, I can't judge everything, but you've got to understand as well, like, the police have got a difficult job there. Like, I really don't want to throw the police under the bus, because I want the police to do a really good job, and I want them to be funded well to do it, right? And in Lancashire, in this situation, they were put under extreme pressure from a lot of different directions, and I don't think they necessarily did a particularly bad job. Like, they did a very thorough search on the day. They did very thorough searching following that, according to what they were told. But I think the family didn't give them enough information. And I think they realised the family might have been involved in something else. That's my opinion. And so Paul was very careful to tread around it. Ernie, very careful. Peter Folding turns up, making it difficult for them. You know, I believe between Paul, Peter Folding and Ernie, and this is my opinion, so, you know, you're not going to do me for defamation on this, but I think they know more than they've told us, the general public, and maybe the police. Maybe. And that's why the police had a difficult job finding out what was going on. But they didn't they didn't ignore the river. They didn't ignore the local surroundings. They didn't ignore the local people. They didn't ignore, you know, they did their best that they could do. And I think, because if you've got this is something else I need to make clear as well. It's probably not that clear to everyone, but it doesn't matter now. We're in the middle of this, doesn't it? I think that if you, like, let me give you a different example, so that I'm trying to stay away from slander or whatever, but, you know, it's not slander, it's ideas, and it's just thoughts and opinions based on what I can see, connecting dots and stuff. Imagine that you know someone in your local area who's a big, I don't know, if you lived in London and you knew the Krays, you've heard of the Krays, haven't you? You've heard of the Krays. I've mentioned this before. You've heard of the Krays, right? So you go on a dog walk and you find a mobile phone and a dog. You're like, well, I'll try and get this back to the people that own it, won't I? I'll try and get that to whoever owns it. So it's a mobile phone, it's a dog, so I'll try and get that back to whoever owns it. And you look on the phone and you realise, uh-oh, this is Reggie Cray's phone. This dog belongs to Reggie Cray. Whoa, I ain't touching it. I'm not touching it. I wasn't here. I didn't find it. Wipe my fingerprints off. Someone else can find that. I don't want to know. Excuse me, knock, 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 the police come round to your house. We're looking for some information about a missing person that happened recently. And you're thinking, this missing person? What, the one that's got to do with the craze? Yeah, I'm not going to talk to the police. No, sorry, I didn't see anything. Eyewitness account, I saw someone from a distance. You know, no one's going to want to come forward and implicate anything about the craze. If someone lives in an area, a small area, and they've got a reputation, a dangerous or bad reputation, and the police are trying to find out information about what's happened to something regarding them, the public might not be that forthcoming. The people in St. Michael's might know more than they're letting on. So I think the police have had a really difficult job, because I think someone involved has got a bad reputation. And I think that that's caused the people involved directly to not want to tell the police the direct truth. I think, me personally, I think someone did have Nikki, or maybe there was some suggestion of ransom or pressure on people to do certain things. So they weren't help the police try and find her. They were trying to sort that behind the scenes. You had a great big GoFundMe kick-off. Someone needed some money quick. So with that all going on, I think behind the scenes you didn't see the police doing a really good investigation, because I think they tried to and they did as much as they could. And also when they started, you had this extra SIO from the drug squad up the road. They'd had all these guns in a car. Like, maybe there's been some connections with some other stuff, and they're looking into it in these deeper levels. And they're not going to publish that, are they? They're not going to say, yeah, Nicola Bulley might be related to the craze, so we're not going to tell you anything else but that. And then we're going to, but word to the wise, like, they're not going to tell anyone. They're just going to do the hard work behind the scenes. And ultimately, I don't think they were able to connect the dots enough. I think the people that, like Peter Folding turning up, might have covered evidence rather than finding it. Well, he said that he didn't find her, but apparently he did. So I don't know what was going on there. So I think that they were even, at some point in the investigation, the police looked at it and said, right, if this person, and this person are all trying to stop us finding out information, and we've asked everyone and we've done everything, I've got a real strong suspicion that there's something else going on here, and I can't prove it because I haven't got the evidence. So Nicola Bulley goes to inquest, and we have to walk away, because we can't solve every crime. Although we mentally have solved it, and we've got ideas, we can't do it. We haven't got the evidence. We can't prove it. So we can't lock anyone up, and we don't go after them. And if we had more time and we had more resources, we could. And we have to walk away. They have to be real about it, Big ups Blind Bee. Eddie knew the name Bulley. He said he phoned his brother. The name is known. I don't know if that's, I can't agree or disagree on that. So every turn, Eddie seemed to point away from Ernest at every opportunity he could. You know my feelings on that. I've done the interview. I've left it for everyone else to make their own decisions. Where does Emma become involved? It's something to do with Nikki's dad. I've got more to, expose about things I've been looking into. And it gets to the point where you have to make up your own mind about stuff. But there's a lot of combination ideas that come into it. John Wedger has said, now you can't trust what John Wedger said, but apparently Paul Ansel and Emma belong to the same acting agency, which I've never heard until John Wedger said it. That's coming up on my stream. I've recorded it. It's ready to go as an episode, but this is taking precedence now. That's coming up on this channel. And you see what I mean, Jamie? Like, if people know you're connected, then like, imagine that, like, they found your phone on the bench. Like, what are they going to say about that? Do you know what I mean? People might know, they might worry, but they're not going to say anything because they might be next. So they ain't going to say anything. The dodgy still of Nicola. Do you want to see something about that while we're on it? Wait, where did I... Like, the thing that annoys me the most, and I mean the thing that annoys me the most about the whole of it, is this stinking. So this was from Danbers Ekisjus, but like, it's something that's been stinging my mind for ages. This still you're talking about, yeah? This still with the mark on her face, if that even is Nikki, because it's easy to Photoshop something like that, yeah? This is from a wider composite image, look. That's the wider image. That's the bottom left corner they've taken that still from. That's the bottom left corner. It's all from the same frame. It's like you've taken it's like just taking this corner of my stream and blowing it up, yeah? But when they released the CCTV, they had that corner gone. They'd zoomed in. This picture you're looking at here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different pictures pushed together to form the big picture. That CCTV is fake. It's been cropped in and they put a new timestamp on it. And you can prove it because this corner comes off the same set. That corner is from the same camera. But if you put that in the frame, it adds a white bar on the bottom, doesn't it? So why, when we watch the CCTV, can't we see this corner? Because it's zoomed in. So that proves that. Undoubtable. Unless you can see the CCTV with that corner in, you're not looking at the real CCTV. You're looking at a video that's been altered. It's not the original. And it doesn't have the timestamp on the bottom because the bottom's been cut off. We never see that rooftop on the overside of the road. Look, the actual CCTV that you watch, the actual CCTV that you get shown is this angle. And it doesn't show the corner at the bottom left. And it doesn't show the houses at the top. So it's zoomed in and it's cropped off. So why have they done that? That's evidence. That's actual evidence that the CCTV is fake, yeah? That's actual evidence that you shouldn't be using that CCTV. And they use the CCTV in the Channel 5 programme that we just watched. They used the CCTV with Jizzy's watermark on it that we just watched. You want to look at Marsh Farm Hall? I've done this before, Big Chris. You can't look at it, can you? It's on Google Maps, but you're not allowed to see it. I've done it before on our streams. You know, as on request, I will. Like, show you where I live now. Everyone knows where I live. Not exactly, but you know. Alright, stop doing these directions. Just show me Marsh Farm Hall. You're not allowed to look at it. Look, it's blanked out. We did this before because whilst you can't see Marsh Farm Hall itself, it's strange that you can't see Marsh Farm Hall because it is a business that you want people to find. They advertise it on the internet and they have an entrance up this end, which is like if you're going to go into Marsh Farm Hall and you're coming as a business person, you come up this end, this road here, and it used to have a sign up. I don't know whether the sign's still there, if it's further down, but you can't see it. It's been obliterated. People have used their right to privacy. They've asked Google to remove their property, and this happened before I even started on Nicola Bulley case. As far as for the first time I ever looked at Marsh Farm Hall on the internet during the Nicola Bulley case early days, it was obliterated. It's always been like that as far as I can see. And then just up here, just up the road from Marsh Farm Hall, literally just up here, look, is one of these waterways. A bridge needs to be constructed for this waterway. It's not a river. This is a valley in between two fields. They dig them out for drainage for the fields. And you can see how they have to have a bridge for this. Here, look, a bridge. So it's extensive enough to go over. And if the water can go through the bridge, you can go underneath that in the bridge. You can fit underneath that. You can crawl through it, I imagine. And if you go back onto the... how do I get back onto the map? Onto the map. This is Marsh Farm Hall. And there's that waterway there. And it leads down here to that culvert there. And we talked about this way back, didn't we? That you could like potentially stash someone there and then let them into the river.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Curious Cat sent tippies. On Big Chris' behalf. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Curious Cat, on Big Chris's behalf. Chris lends me loads of tippies. You don't have to tip me on his behalf. He's already tipping me loads. Thank you. On everyone's behalf, thank you. So yeah, we did look at this, and I agree. I totally agree. I think Marsh Farm Hall is an interesting place, and I think more more interesting than just to house Peter and his friends. But I don't know if Peter stayed there. I think Peter said he stayed somewhere else, didn't he? So maybe Peter stayed at the country park or somewhere like that. I don't know. He had a helicopter to park down here, and then he went and stayed somewhere else. What he said. So Marsh Farm Hall, place of interest, not interesting but to the police, and the River Wire just there, and these other waterways very close by. They don't own this field, I don't think, but it is literally just a walk across a field to go there to the river. Nicola Bulley was found. She went all the way up round here, didn't she? All the way up here, and she was found here. Of course, a tidal river that can go both directions. So, Marsh Farm Hall over here. If you deposited a body from behind Marsh Farm Hall into the river there, you'd hope it wouldn't stay there. And if it did float up to here, if it managed to float up to here, then this would be where she was found. So, not far away. Still a bit of a bend to go around, but less obstacles, deeper river. I mean, maybe it's considered possible that if she was put in the river at some other time, she didn't have to be put in at this end. People seem to think someone drove this road and dumped her off here. I think not. To float up there, she's got to get around places like this, where Peter Folding couldn't use his boat because it would have grounded. So, interesting stuff. It was tidal times. You're right, yeah. Also, I mean, I've got something else to say in the future, and I don't want to say it now because it's blowing my load before it's constructed. I might make it into a video rather than a rant on stream. But there's other evidence that is important in this area, and it's in front of everyone's face, but they just can't see it. When I say evidence, I mean circumstantial. I mean, you know how we talk stories, we're telling stories, just like the media. You think in stories, you think of it as a story, you think, could this hold water as a story? Would this make sense? Is it logical, There's deeper stories and there's other stories that overlap. I mean, I love the work of Adam Curtis because he managed to elucidate things in this way. It's like saying, I don't know, a little while ago, some people stormed a building in Afghanistan. Was it in Afghanistan? And, or was it Pakistan? And they found Osama bin Laden. He was living there. And they shot him. Didn't they? They shot him. And then they dumped his body off a boat so you couldn't see it. But they shot him, Osama bin Laden. And you're like, right, well, that's an interesting story. Why did they do that? Like, why did Nicola Bulley go missing? And then, instead of finding anything out, you say, well, there were 3 men and they went up the stairs at 10:32 and the first bullet got shot at 10:35, which meant at 10:33 Osama bin Laden must have been in this room. And like, I know he got shot. I know Nicola Bulley's missing. She's wound up dead. Yeah? Why? Not how. Not give me the 10 minutes here to walk to here and did this eyewitness see them there or whatever. Irrelevant to me. Well, obviously very relevant to me, but kind of irrelevant to me. I know she's dead now. I know she's in the river, yeah? So I might not find out how, because I haven't got investigative skills, the network the police has, the resources, in that way. I might not be able to find out exactly how. I can't do forensic study of the area. But why is a very important question as well. And motives are very important, aren't they? And if you're going to suggest to me that, okay, but back to Osama bin Laden, he got shot, right? Well, it could have just been because the army were angry. There could have been an angry army man running past his house on the day. An eyewitness said they saw a man in black jumping out of a helicopter. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you just ask the locals why Osama bin Laden got shot that day, like, imagine you just go around the houses in the area and just say, so, just now, a helicopter come and there was some bullets, weren't there, gunfire. Do you know what happened? They just go, no, I don't know. And if they knew it was Osama bin Laden, they'd be even less likely to speak. No, I don't know. Don't know nothing. You're not going to find out what happened to Osama bin Laden getting shot without going back like further than 10, 20 years on the story, learning about his interaction through the Chechen conflict, you know, learning about the funding of the Afghanistani army and the Soviet conflict. You know, you're not going to learn about these things without a deeper sense of history. And then when you finally get to Osama bin Laden's actions and, you know, behaviours, like even that's layered and complex, isn't it? Why were we at war? Why did terrorism happen? Why did this? Why did that? The oil and the money and were the weapons of mass destruction and, you know, all that stuff. So, like, you're going to tell me you're going to solve the case of the bin Laden shooting by just pedantically going on and on about how many people ran up his stairs? Like, you're going to miss everything. You're going to miss everything. You need to go back. You need to see the bigger pictures. You need to understand local concerns and things that, like, you know, seem innocuous but connect. You need to understand family history. You need to understand, like, because I'm talking about Nicola Bulley case, yeah? It could be the Ernest Bulley case, but you think it's the Nicola Bulley case. You think that Nicola Bulley's the one that was attacked and Nicola Bulley was the victim here, and she was the victim here. But if certain people want to attack other certain people, like, they might just see her as Ernest Bulley's daughter. You don't know. You don't know. So, pawns in a game, pressures, stuff like that. Like, there's more to this. There's a lot more. There's a lot more. And Stuart Grimes, I don't believe I think she was murdered, but I don't think the establishment are involved in covering it up. I don't think that. I think they're trying to uncover it, but there's something that's bigger than, like, behind the scenes. There's a sort of yes, okay, when you say the establishment, I mean, I don't know what you mean by the establishment. Not the police, I don't think, and I don't know about Masons, but there are some really big businesses that put a lot of money into the politics in our country, and they do want certain things to work a certain way for them, and they do want police to look away in certain ways, in certain times. And I think there's also organised crime networks that overlap. So am I going to make another documentary? Yes, if you think the video I made about Nicola Bulley solved is a documentary, it's not. That's just a video I made, but I am intending to make more documentary about stuff in the future, like actual documentary. So yes to that question. And I've got stuff about Nicola Bulley that's waiting to be said, that's on the editing board, so to speak. That's like a series of ideas and websites and a script that's sort of coming together. But I don't know if I do it as a live stream or a script and do it as a video, you know. But yeah, so, like, I wanted to say that point though about the establishment cover-up. I think that there is a cover-up, but it's by criminals and bad people who are trying to cover up their bad actions. And some of those even overlap with the establishment, yes. But I don't think the mainstream establishment, like, there's a group of organised elites that are trying to cover this up and have done something deliberate that they wanted to cover up, or have made a story to scare the public or things like that. I think Nicola legitimately went missing because some bad people got hold of her, and not because she's done something on a dog walk, you know, not because of that, because of some other stuff, yeah? And there's stuff you don't know and you're not being told, yeah? Like, she didn't just get pushed in the river by a random stranger. It's not a road rage incident from Penny. Penny Fletcher got so angry she pushed someone in the river. That's convenient. No. Like, the reason that we're not getting all the information not being told is because the people on the scene who are looking at the phone and stuff, they think, shit, I'm not talking about this. If it is this darker stuff, if she is connected to darker things, we ain't talking. And I'm not saying Nikki's bad, I'm saying the people around her are bad. And so the people around her have been doing bad stuff. She's gone missing. They want to get her back, yeah. But they want, what was it on the GoFundMe? You know, they wanted that to get her back, didn't they? Then I think things went wrong. I think the extra police presence, I think the extra social media investigation, I think Paul Ansell's inability to pull, like, you know, whatever you think of it, his inability, his buffoonery, and in some way, the interaction with the press and the media, maybe he overstepped the line. You know, I don't know. At some point, the people who have got her have thought, fuck this, she ain't coming back now. There's too much heat on this. So as soon as it dies down a bit, you will find her, but you won't find her alive. And they've all run away and tried to hide it. So yeah, I think there is a cover-up going on, but by the bad people who killed her. Not by the establishment per se, and not by the police necessarily. And certainly the further down the line you go, down the chain, the more normal people at the bottom end of the chain, and us, the public, we're not trying to cover this up, we're trying to find out what's going on. the higher up the chain, as I said, I think you've got to be aware that somebody can hold public office even, like be an MP and do crimes. It's been proven. That's happened. You've got to be aware that people could hold private business positions, CEOs and big companies, and do crimes. Some big companies have criminalised things because it's for their benefit. We go back to the animal welfare. It used to be that if you protest animal welfare, then you can protest it. You had a right to protest. And then they decided that you're protesting the food chain. So if you're protesting the food chain, that's danger to the, you can't attack the food chain. That's like terrorism, isn't it? Imagine a load of people attacked our food chain. You haven't got any food in your supermarkets. It's a way of undermining the country. So now it's almost terrorism what they're doing. So what we did was we politically criminalised the people who are protesting the animal welfare. And instead of criminalising protesting, they criminalised attacking the food chain protesting. And they put people in prison for a lot of time. And what that did was it created criminals out of innocent people, and it protected people who I think were doing criminal things. It wasn't a crime to ferry animals around in big vans. It's not a crime to put them in laboratories. It's not a crime to breed a beagle and then put it in a laboratory and cut it open while it's alive and do experiments on its brain or make it smoke 1 million cigarettes for its life while it's locked in a cage. It's not a crime to do that. It's not a crime to do experiments on animals like cats and monkeys and shit. It's not a crime. You just have to have a license. But I would say that should be criminal. So it's about what society and and that's governance and that's money. And it's okay. You see Boris Johnson on the telly. He's the big leader of the Conservative Party today, and now he's gone, and it's Richie Sunak, and it used to be John Major, and it's somebody else. They all have their turn on the top of the thing, funneling the money into their pocket, but they're not going to be there forever. But the people who are there for a long time behind the scenes, big money. When I say big money, I mean talk about the food chain. Not every farmer is like looking after a little few herd of cows and doing their best to, rural life. Some of them are massive kill chains, doing 1 billion chickens a day, whatever. Massive kill chains, factories. And the people that own them don't walk around in welly boots, feeding the cattle little grain and patting them on the head. The people that own them don't give a fuck. They're animals, they're objects, and they just mass money it. And they've got loads of money. And the people that do the pharmaceuticals, they've got access to all the drugs. Yeah, they're shipping in drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. So there's an overlap. You can be running a company, and you can be legit and above board, and you can still be a right dodgy crim and do crim things behind the scenes as well. Even that, think of that. So there's loads of different irons in the fire here, and Nicola Bulley's fallen foul of other people's bigger games. Yeah, she's not the linchpin in all this. I think the people who took her expected they would get their result quickly, and she might have even been returned, and it would have been no further said. It would have been quick, quiet, nothing said. Or maybe they never intended to give her back in the first place. But I don't think that she's just wandered off or fallen in the river or someone's pushed her on a row. That seems really bizarre and strange. Far more bizarre and strange than what I'm suggesting compared with the evidence that we've got. And I'll throw some evidence at you now, and I'm not going to do the full thing like I'm saying. I've got episodes coming up, watch out. But bruising. Blood that had gone onto her chin and dried. Literal evidence from the autopsy that can't be denied because it was out in the autopsy. But, God rest her soul, talking about her in this way. But, silent witness stuff, isn't it? It's the stuff you can't avoid. But happy days for a happy soul. Thank you, Scouse Mouse, for the 444. GB Patriot also says, I think Lancashire Police screwed the investigation up on purpose as part of the cover-up, ? I don't think they did it, screwed it up on purpose. I think they brought in someone who was good. Drug Squad, Sally Riley, was it? Or I'll get my names wrong with that. I've got to redo that video, haven't I? They brought in someone who they thought was good, and she knew what she was doing, and they just didn't have the resources. And in the time frame, and with the resources they had, and then with the introduction of Peter Folding, I think they decided that, in the police, they would probably be working on this, but they have to sort of put it up the chain, don't they, and say, hey, we've got this bigger investigation. It involves this, it involves this, it involves this. Can we have the resources to go and do this job? We think we might be able to find. Like, and they might say, well, we don't know if we've got the resources for that. No, it's a missing persons Nicola Bulley. And if it does connect to all this bigger stuff, we'll put it on the record. And, you know, unless you can find me some real serious evidence to link it now, unless if it's just hearsay or conjecture like Scotty Hotty's got, sorry, you can't have the money. You're about to retire anyway. Why don't we just, like, you know, accept what we can and can't do? The police at the moment aren't able to, like, in Coventry, there's a, and that's an area local to me, right? So I know about this because it was in the paper recently. There's a S assault, you know, an S assault place. It's a charity for people who have been S assaulted, and they've got a waiting list of 500 people that they can't get to. Like, they're not able to investigate their cases. I'm laughing because it's so awful, and they've decided they're going to the council are going to, because they cut the budget by millions, so the council are going to redo this service, and those people will get seen to, but initially they're going to remove the service entirely while they set up a new service. It's a shambles. So, you know, if they can't do the basics of, like, that's not the police, that was a separate issue that should be policed, but if they can't do the basics, like, you know, how are they going to do these extra things? And I think they just have to accept, as police people, whilst they would like to catch the criminals, if they're not going to be able to, they can't. It's like, if you want me to cycle, you know, if you want me to cycle from one end of town to the other and you won't give me a bike, then I just have to accept that I can't cycle. It's a cycle race, you won't give me a bike. Okay, I'm not in the race. The end. Like, what do you want me to do? I could get my own bike, I could go on YouTube, you know, one of these police that has left the force could come out and do their own whatever they want, maybe. I don't know, but no, I don't have the bike, do I? Because I don't have the resources. I can walk the cycle race, I can jog it, but I'm never going to be able to do what the police can, or what you know, serious investigative journalists could do if they were serious about it. Country's a mess, me for Prime Minister. Yeah, agreed, but, you know, I wouldn't make a good job of being Prime Minister necessarily. That's a nightmare world, isn't it? But we need to take the hands, and I agree to some extent. Listen, both sides are just as bad, aren't they? Like, it's controlled opposition, I understand, but you've got to move away from the worst. It's like Labour would be better in lots of ways, and then if you thought that that was a move in the right direction or the wrong or whatever, like, maybe you could vote Green or like something else. Like, I don't know why a protest vote had to be the worst. Like, protest voting for Brexit or these other, you know, splinter parties or whatever, protest voting in that way was like shooting yourself in the foot over a protest about your shoes not being comfy. Like, there's other protest votes. So there is ways we can change the social strata and political sphere, but we have to be, like, engaged and concerned, and I don't know, I'm not going to change that in my lifetime. I'm already in a position where that's beyond me, I think. But it is a shame, and it is what's going on. And I don't know why the mainstream media are so poo-pooing TikTok, because TikTok's one of the opiates of the masses that exists today, isn't it? Marx wasn't wrong, was he? It's not religion, it's TikTok. Don't we all like watching videos of young girls on TikTok? So that's a joke I'm doing against a certain other content creator who's currently raging on TikTok because he says it's so young. I'm not even going to press the button because it's not for this channel, but most of you know who I'm talking about. Oh, it's got me raging, this. Right, so go back to this. We didn't get any extra footage about Paul Ansell, did we? We got no extra footage. What they did was they re-edited his interview to make him look better. That's all they did. No extra footage. Then this editor from the Lancashire Post, this is the one that a certain other creator was really interested to see what she said. None of these people in any kind, like, what they did for this documentary is fair enough for certain kinds of documentary. I've made a film that's on the Super Chuffer channel. It's called Indie Game Development Paradise. I will show it you now quickly because shout out my own trumpet. Most of you don't want to watch this though. It's fair enough. But Indie Dev Paradise Super Chuffer. This is a documentary I made. It's a draft of it, but it's the documentary, right? And in it, we tell some stories, and I use lots of different people's voices to tell the story. Watch.
So making the pitch video was, for me, first of all, I understood the purpose. They wanted to see me as a character, but with the pitch video, didn't take it very seriously, and I think that's why it worked.
I reshot it like dozens and dozens of times, trying to get it just right.
I submitted the application like at 11:59 at the very last second, because I just kept tweaking it for ages. So.
The video is a gift from me to them, saying, hey, I give you this piece of me that I recorded in time, and I hope that you will take me in for my personality and my whatever.
So, now we've learned what it's like to do a pitch video to get on this project. You've heard from 3 different people what it's like to do a pitch video, but I asked 20 people what it's like to do a pitch video. They all gave me an answer ranging between 10 seconds and 5 minutes, and I cut the bits that I wanted to put. Anxiety, worried, did it at the last minute, it's about my personality. That's the story of the pitch video. I put that together in the edit, yeah? There's truth about the pitch video that comes from lots of different people. There's lots of different truths. People felt differently about it. I used different people to say short things to construct what I wanted to have them say about it. As you know, I could have made that different. I could have had, some people said the pitch video was something that, like one of them said, we already had a pitch video for our game because we'd entered a different competition, so it was already there. And I thought, that's not going to use in my film. Doesn't tell much story. But I could have said that, and then they'd have thought, oh, most of these developers have already got their pitch videos lying around. You can create and control in a way, but also what's important is that if you're looking to tell, like, you know, what we're doing with the Nicola Bulley case here and what they did on Channel 5 is about the truth of stuff and what was going on, yeah? So what we're not getting from Nicola here is a testimony from her about what happened. We're getting a soundbite edited together with other sound bites to present an idea. So she might have sat down and she might have said whatever she's about to say now, and then said, oh, actually, you know what I've said there doesn't really give full picture. Let me give you a 5-minute bit of context about what I said and why that sound bite makes sense. And then they've edited that off and they just use this. So you can't judge any of these people. I mean, really, you could edit together all the things they said and make a sort of 3-minute bit of Mark Williams Thomas. You could do that. I did it for Paul Ansley the last time they uploaded their stuff, didn't they? But the actual interview, you know, the long form, that's not there. Not there in any of it. It's all sound bites. So you can't really take much. Like, you're not going to be able to judge what she said and relate it to what she said in the past and what her publications were like in the Lancashire Post. This is just sound bites. And I'll prove it, look.
Thinking, what on earth? Why would you possibly release that information?
See how they cut that off? She was saying stuff. They just cut it off. Look.
I was absolutely astonished. I think me and every other middle-aged woman.
I was absolutely astonished with something from somewhere else. They've overlapped it. You didn't see her say it. So they liked her saying, I was absolutely astonished. They've grabbed that. She could have been saying that about anything. I think me and every other middle-aged woman. Oh, right, identifiable. We're all the same now. This is the audience. Me and the audience, we're all the same. Make sure you get that.
In the country, in the world, was thinking, what on earth? Why would you possibly release that information?
And then she's gone. No context. That information, they're talking about Nicola and her vulnerabilities, that were, you know, the ideas that were released. But you don't know she was talking about that because she was just a soundbite from nothing. So they could have, I'm not saying they did fake that and, you know, she was talking about something else, but I'm saying how easy it is to construct narrative in documentary out of simple sound bites. I know because I've done it, but in an innocent way where I'm trying to tell a real story through other people's voices. Like...
I'm gonna look like an asshole.
It's bizarre that they should... Like, this is a good example of it as well from the start.
Focus on their game and...
This is my documentary.
We want Stugan to be this place for game developers where they can come and they can be just between each other and focus on their game and inspire each other.
See how I cut her off then? She was telling me what she thought Stugan was about. And she gave me a big answer. But I don't want her just to tell me her truth and the big conversation, like a serious grown-up, you know, deeper thing. I did want that. I got that. We can look at that. We can look at those interviews. But this documentary has to tell you the story of what this place is, early doors in the film. I need lots of different voices giving... If someone's, you know, let's say... actually, you'll see it. You'll see it, look.
It just becomes a beautiful place and a beautiful nature with people networking and meeting and sharing ideas.
So Stugan is this experimental game development camp in the forests of Sweden where people come together from all over the world to work on the game for 2 months.
So Stugan is kind of like some sort of acceleration program for game developers.
So you see how the one guy said it was about game development and then the other guy said it as well. I've cut them, haven't I, and put them together so that they're telling the story in the way. If I just let one person ramble, it might get... I've put it in order and they don't just only say this.
And it looked absolutely kind of mind-blowingly incredible.
I just imagined like a month and a half just escaping from my life. I don't have to worry about anything.
In the middle of the woods for 2 months with 20 people.
All expenses paid, and they just need to focus on the games. We bring in mentors.
I really wanted to see this place.
So it's interesting to me that one of these people, I just wanted to find it quickly and skip to it. One of the answers I got was Stugan is about stale bread and video games. They were joking, and it's funny. I put it in the doc. I put it in there at some point. That clip is in there. The guys go, Stugan is about stale bread and video games. And it's a funny quote, yeah? So if I just chose the funny quotes and put them together, I could have made that sequence very different. Very different. I know I'm blowing my own trumpet. I want you to watch my Stugan documentary. It's on this channel. It's called Indie Game Development Paradise. You can find it in the video section. God, you're so lazy. You need everything linked for you. I'll do a community post in the next couple of days about it. It's the same here on this documentary, isn't it? It's just like, but this is a different kind of documentary. This documentary shouldn't do that. They should let someone say the full thing. This is about a disappearance of someone who's real. This is about potentially a murder case. This is about a potential crime. In fact, the police person you had on called it a crime scene. So, bit interesting there that you would use those sound bites all the time. Lick Ferrari. Richie Sunak was on as a soundbite. This was ridiculous. Richie Sunak was asked about the Nicola Bulley case in an interview. And because he's got a media team, obviously, they prepared an answer. Richie Sunak don't know or care. He wasn't necessarily following the Nicola Bulley case. It was big enough on the news agenda that they should ask him a question, and serious enough that his media team thought he should answer it. And it was a short sound bite, and they put it in the documentary. This guy, who I don't know what he had to do with anything, has got his opinions about stuff. Mark Williams Thomas has got a lovely looking office. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I think I've covered my exacerbation here. Is there anything else? That was the adverts there. Is there anything else that I now need to make sure we've seen of the documentary that I missed? Obviously, I'm going to go through it in more forensic detail.
There was data on that watch which helped to identify what happened in those final few moments.
It was there?
Phone is recovered.
And I've seen that myself in the Thames, where even the best swimmers cannot swim because of that initial shock.
Right, there you go then. The verdict is out, you know, the verdict is in.
At that point in time.
I can't believe they filmed this like this. If anything, to me, this is disrespectful, and I believe that it shows conclusively that anyone could have walked around with that phone and no one would have spotted who it was and whether it was Nicola. Eyewitnesses. Look, I can't even see her. I'm looking at a video of apparently someone that's it's from the back. Right, so that's it then. And she's not wearing the hat. Daughter steals car from Mum's drive. Big ups, Big Chris. I don't know what that's got to do with it. I'll just say thanks for the big super chat. Daughter steals car from Mum's drive. I'm not. Maybe I'm confused as to what I'm not reading into that or reading into it. Interesting you're saying about the vet, Bobby. I never thought that, you know, it's Nicola Bulley's specific vet. And, like, you know, I've got animals. I go to the vet. Like, I don't have we've got a relationship with the vet. I have a specific vet, I suppose, because I see the one that I think is the nice one. You know, but if something happened to my vet or whatever, it's, no, I'm not in, like, it's like saying, like, you know, I'm trying to think of someone who I have an equal relationship with. It's like probably my relationship with the receptionist at the dentist. I probably see the receptionist at the dentist more often than the vet. Like, so I've got thoughts and feelings about that vet and her fear and apparent, well, in my opinion, it looks a bit like a murder. But that is connected, in my opinion, but it's not connected because it's Nicola Bulley direct. It's because there's a wider thing going on that involves people in the area, and other people in the area are connected, but they're not connected because they know Nicola and want to get rid of Nicola. They're just connected to another bigger thing that's going on in the area. You know, that's what I'm saying. This is why I keep going on about it. Again, I'll do this. We'll go to the Google Maps, yeah? This is where all we're looking at. And I'm saying on this screen exactly is some information that, you know, we'll come to later. But you zoom out and you move down to where she actually lived. It's down here somewhere, isn't it? And like, hang on, where exactly? I don't need to show you exactly where, do I? Like, she drives, it's up this road here that they drive up and go around. Like, they come this way, this lane, right, to get to the school. And this is stupid as well. This annoys me. Why are you all looking for all this on Garstang Road? Garstang Road, Garstang Road. Why aren't we looking for any CCTV off Hall Lane? Because if I lived where Nikki lived, I'd drive up there to go to the school. It's quicker down here and around here. You go up, across, you link up this road, and you actually go past what is an airfield, a dairies, and an air. You don't go as far as the airfield, but there isn't. Or I think you do go past an airfield, or you can, or you don't have to, but it's there. There's an airfield. You know, make notes. But honestly, an airfield's quite an interesting aspect to this, isn't it? Like Peter Folding's got a helicopter. He can go and land in an airfield, can't he? Or not? You know, if you've got a plane, you can land in an airfield. There's lots of different ways to skin a cat, so to speak, aren't there? And there's lots of different ways to export an animal. And there's lots of different ways to import all sorts of stuff. It's Lancashire, matey. It's not nice. Thank you very much, Big Chris. I don't know how nice or whatever it is, but I'm not going to, you know, Big Chris doesn't like Lancashire. Big up Sebelina. You're from Poland. Jak się masz? Dobrze? Bardzo dobrze. I can say a couple of swear words. And I can also say, oh, Miszku, kocham cię, Miszku. Because I used to have a girlfriend that was Polish. So St. Michael's car boot there and the airfield's there. She'd drive up Hall Lane to get up here. In my opinion. So we didn't look for information on that. They weren't interested in that. But what I'm saying is this is where it all went on, yeah? This is where she lived over there. This is Lancashire. This is where it all went on. But if you zoom out, like if you zoom out, because you need to, you can't just look at that. It's like trying to solve the whole case by just looking at this, yeah? Like you missed the whole world. Like if you just get that and you try and solve the case from that, you miss the whole world. Inspector Morse doesn't spend the entire episode sat by the fucking crime scene, does he? Who's your favourite? I want to, in chat now while we're talking about it, who's your favourite detective on the telly? And I'm sorry, earlier on someone said I shouldn't swear so much, and I said, it's my fucking stream. But I was eggy earlier, but I shouldn't stream and swear as much. It's no big deal. You know, who's your favourite TV detective if there's people here, if there's people watching while I'm ranting? You know, might as well ask you, might as well get your opinions. Who's your favourite TV detective? I used to like Morse, I did, and I like Cracker as well. Cracker was really good. Can't all be doom and gloom, can it? Well, Cracker was quite gloomy. Used to like a bit of Morse. Vera's big on the telly at the moment. Thanks for doing the map on the farm. No worries. We've done it on stream before. Like I said, I was aware of what you were saying. I agree 100%. I think it's weird that it's blocked out. For privacy reasons, you would block out your address if XYZ. But if you're running a business where you want people to turn up there, Marsh Farm Hall, these are our directions, find us on the internet. But when you find us on the internet, you won't be able to see it because we blocked it out. Stupid and weird. Yeah. Don't like it. Frost, Columbo, Vera. A lot of people saying Columbo. A friend of mine recommended I should watch Columbo. I never have. Kojak. Morse. Sherlock. I did like a bit of Sherlock. It got a bit contrived. I used to read the Sherlock Holmes books when I was a kid. So when it was on the tellis, I was like, this is good. And then it went a bit off the ball later on. Our favourite is the Armchair Chuffer. Nice one, Big Chris. Thank you for the £2 super chat. People like Columbo. I'm going to have to watch some Columbo. I've never watched it. Magnum P.I., really? With the gun and the moustache? What about The Equalizer? Dun, 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 dun. The Equalizer used to come on, and that's how I knew it was time for bed. At Nan's house. That and Prisoner Cell Block H. I'd be like, God. She'd let me stay up as well, but there's no point. Like, she was smart, my Nan. She'd just, like, put The Equalizer on or Prisoner Cell Block H, and I'd be fed up by then. I'd go to bed, but, like, she let me stay up, bless her. Mawson Endeavour. I haven't watched the Endeavour version either, yeah. Who wanted her dead? I don't think necessarily, I'll answer you directly. I don't think they wanted her dead. I think they wanted to put pressure on the people in her family for other reasons. And that if XYZ had happened, she might have been released very quickly. I think they might have had other pressures put on them in the lead up to this. You know, I don't think it happened overnight. And there's options. That's a main theory in my mind, right? There's other options are that she was involved in uncovering something or discovering something, and maybe she decided, I'm not putting up with this, I'm standing my foot ground and whatever, and someone said she's got to be, you know, she's got to be stopped. There's a possibility that, I don't want to say she was complicit in crimes, I definitely don't want to say that, but there's a possibility that, like, when people are doing bad crimes, maybe money laundering's involved, and maybe at some point big amounts of money are going around, maybe she was involved in receiving of some of that money, you know, as like a middle person, so that it, you know, maybe. Or, like, my worst worry is that something went missing. Like, someone was expecting a delivery, or a big amount of money went missing, and they were like, right, you know, we'll, you know, tell us where it is, or it's, you know, stuff like that. I don't think that's the case, though. But yeah, I think it's more in that region of ideas than it is that what we've been suggested so far. And the reason I think that, thank you very much, Big Chris, for the £5 super chat. You've been very generous tonight, Chris. Thanks. Thank you. Everyone else in chat, Chris is pulling your weight, basically. I think that there's, like, you know, all those detectives we just listed, yeah? All the detectives we just listed, except Columbo, because I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But it's rare that they, like, usually it's someone that's in the early stages, you've seen them, and it's someone that's nearby, but it's rare that it's something so simple as she fell and slipped in the river, or the woman's dog was on the other side of the fence and she got eggy, so she pushed her in, isn't it? Or even her husband just did it at home and covered it up. Like, that's the more straightforward, but still, okay, a bit Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? Because we think it's by the river, but it's not, it's at home. You know, ooh. Or maybe it's at Marsh Farm Hall. Ooh, you know, there's that. But there's this other layer, like I said, of, like, deeper, it's like, this episode might be a two-parter. Do you know what I mean? Like, Silent Witness two-parter. Come back for episode 2 tomorrow, after the news or whatever. I think it might be a bit deeper than that. So, like I'm saying, if you look at this, and you look and you say, this is the crime scene, this is where we're going to find the information, this is what we're looking at, then you've missed the whole world, because you do need to zoom out. You do need to zoom out. St. Michael's on Wire there, next to Blackpool, near these inlets. Liverpool, big city. Manchester, big city. Big influx of shipping here. Massive influx of shipping to this area. Ireland just over here. You've also got this route across the country, and in a previous episode I did this, didn't I? So I should be able to find this as well very quickly for you. On my own channel, maybe? Maybe? On my own channel? View my own channel. Should be able to find this if I go to the lives. Shouting myself out again. Eating this until I know I'm live. Hi, you're Scotty Hottie. Someone did Ireland this, right? What they did was I tweeted it and I put it in this episode about Richard Otley, the Bulley Boys. So if you haven't watched that episode, get and watch that. Look, this is a map of the UK, and there's a route across it. Look, why is that route mapped out? What they did was they marked on the map all the recent river disappearances at the time. It involved that lady in Norwich. It involved some other people. There's Inskip up there. They marked out all the river people that had, like, gone missing and died in the river. You know, the strange ones. They made a list of them. A lot of people thought there might have been a serial killer on the loose. Do you remember? It wasn't so long ago. Big up, Steve. This house is back on the market with only 5 picks. I think I've still got the old stuff. I'll have to have a look. Thank you. I will respond to anyone who's atting me in chat tonight because it's just rant and ramble, isn't it? I haven't got the underpinning, like there's not really an episode here other than I was very cross about the documentary and I can't show you lots and lots of footage from it. But here, you see that there, that's a route across the country, and that's a route that links the recent river deaths. Someone else did this on Twitter. I should shout it out, whoever did it, but I can't remember. And I tweeted it and I put it in this episode. And I shouted them out in this episode. But it's interesting, isn't it, that if you were to receive something on one side of the country and drive it across the country and export it down one of these ports, Brightening Sea, for example, like we were talking about on that episode I made, or any of these ports, these days you can have things called free ports, which the Conservative government have introduced, haven't they, where you can literally own a port. Like, remember Richard Otley in this episode, which if you haven't watched it, Richard Otley, Would You Trust This Man with a Sheep on this channel, he says he's interested in buying a port. He doesn't want the police to police the port. He just wants the police to police the access to the port. He's not asking for extra police at the port. He just wants to access the port. And for about £1 million, you can buy your own port. So basically, like I just shown you on that episode, if you want to watch it, it's on this channel. You need to zoom out and you need to look at bigger things. And it might be Nicola Bulley's not just an isolated case of one random thing happening. It might be that the reason that she's ended up dead involves a bigger, serious, she's ended up dead. So it's quite serious, isn't it? And it involves more serious things that are going on. And you zoom out again, and that Brightening Sea was shipping to Netherlands, Belgium, France, these areas of the world, shipping through these areas of the world. In another way, you can zoom out and you can say, if you're from South America and you want to ship something across to the UK, like that, you might stop off in Africa, but it might be that you just go across the Atlantic, don't you? They're the shipping routes. They are the shipping routes. They stop off at Spain, Portugal. They stop off at France. They come into England. They do that. So, we have to keep looking, we have to keep thinking, and we have to be able to connect up the bigger dots. And then you zoom back in. And then you zoom back in. But I'm quite eggy about a certain particular YouTuber who's now not on YouTube. They're banned, aren't I? But they're a great example of this. Is you can spend the next 6 to 10 years making the same episode about, was the lead on the bench or was it on the floor? And this one said this and someone else said this and they weren't that reliable as eyewitnesses. And then you've got 5 minutes from here to here and 10 minutes from here to here. And I like the people on Twitter who are doing this. I'd like to get a really accurate timeline. Interestingly, they said in the documentary they were going to do a timeline. They didn't, did they? They just sort of told you what happened in order. But I like the timelines. They are important, but they're not. That's only one small aspect. That's what supposedly happened on this day that we haven't got very much evidence for. So we're trying to piece together what happened here without much evidence. You might as well try and piece together what happened here without much evidence, or here without much evidence, because you don't know and you haven't got much evidence. So you need to find other ways to solve this crime, don't you? And it's got to be motives, and it's got to be reasons and serious things, because someone's dead. Now, I will, put my hands up to this. I watched Paul Ansell's testimony on the internet and said, right, he looks well guilty. I'm a body language analyst, an amateur body language, I'm a YouTuber who talks about shit on the internet. I'll do that. I'll talk about him. I'll say what I think. And that's where I've started on this. Initially, I would have said, as they said in the documentary, they said 60% of these deaths are in the home by the spouse. I would have thought that number was bigger. I'd have put that, big focus. I did. The more and more interviews I looked with Paul and Emma, the more suspicious and weird they looked. So I called it out every time. But now, with more hindsight and with, pulling back with deeper investigation, now we start to think, yeah, they look dodgy. Yeah, they look like they were lying. But did they do it in a fit of passion? Talking about passion earlier, were they having an affair and this and that? Or is there something they're hiding that they don't want to talk about, that they know about? Is it that? And I think it's that, Mudsinger says she fell in getting the dog out of the weir. Unfortunately, no. I just don't think so. Her phone would be in her pocket. The weir's not up by the bench. The weir's further down, so she wouldn't be by the weir. She has no cause to be by the weir. So if you think she fell up the bench, it's just, no. No. We got to speak, Chris. It's 13 miles from you and it's doing your head in. Maybe you should go down with your phone and film some stuff. Get arrested. I think in the long run, listen, I've got to bring this round now as well, because like maybe I need to go back to their documentary, but like their documentary shit, isn't it? So let's move through that more quickly again. They do a recreation. They talk about the COP report really briefly. There's fake Peter Folding again. Recreation of Peter Folding. You get this chuffer from The Sun, who I think is like diabolic. And then they slander social media, say how bad it is. And then it's the end. It's just the end. Isn't it? So it's like, what do you want me to do? How am I gonna, what your mama, how'd your mama, what should I, what am I supposed to? Really, the real work is not going to be done from that we don't, like, I'll tell you what there isn't in that documentary is there's nothing to learn, nothing to see, nothing new. There's a load of people from the newspapers telling you what they thought, and they weren't on the ground, they didn't know. They got hearsays, third-hand information. You even had people like Isla Traquard stating things in the news that later on the police said weren't accurate. Like, you know, you just 2024. So I've got to bring this round to like a more pleasant conclusion in some way, haven't I? Now, I think there's been loads of really good work done on the internet, and I think there's loads of really good work being done. And I think, okay, in terms of finding what happened to Nicola and the truth, I think we will find some truths. I think me personally, people have said, oh, you know, you should watch out, people might try and murder you. There's no point in murdering me because I don't know anything. Like, I can find out some ideas, allude to some ideas, I'm more likely to be able to put things on the pinboard and some string around them than I am to pull all the strings together and give you a name, yeah? I'm not Inspector Morse. I can't go knocking on people's doors and ask them about their backstories and stuff. You know, I can't roll a witness. Like, none of this is going to happen, is it? So what's more likely from my end is, I think, like I said, I've got more to tell you. Absolutely. I've been doing some investigation of my own. It's not masses and masses, but it's like that last video. It's more connecting things. It's more interesting stuff. And some people will say, well, it's got nothing to do with Nicola Bulley. And other people will say, well, this definitely has something to do with Nicola Bulley. And it's totally up to you what you think. But as a group on the internet, I think with more people doing that, and the more we can, like, I've got to shout this out as well. Like, incoming, I believe, is the another YouTube channel has transcribed the inquest and is reading out the inquest, and I'm really going to need to see some real solid evidence that actually is the inquest factually before I can just trust that some YouTubers are telling me the truth these days. No offense to any YouTubers, but like, if it's evidence-based stuff, we're going to need to see some evidence, because otherwise we could all just start YouTube channels where we tell you what was said at the inquest. And then if someone else starts a YouTube channel and they say different stuff, then what we're going to do? We'll argue about what was real. Like, the best thing is that if we have a copy of the damn inquest in the public, but, you know, we'll have to hope for that. And if they've got that copy of the inquest and they've been using it, they can find some way of making it very clear that it's all for real, even if it's a leak. Like, I think if they've got, you know, they might want to keep that to themselves because they think it's their content they're going to do. But I would personally, if I had a copy of the inquest for the good of the public, I'd leak it somewhere. You know, there are ways of doing that, and then it would be out there, and then we could confirm that you were telling the truth, and I would listen to what you were saying. But like, the confirmation bit's going to be very difficult, and it raises questions, especially, you know, question the narrative, in inverted commas, believe yourself, trust no one, and all that. Like, yeah, there's some conspiracy nutters out there and all sorts. You'd love a pint of smoke in a chat. Big ups. Well, this is what we get. This is how we do it. You're smoking, I'm smoking. You might have a pint. I don't drink, so I'll just drink this. But this is what we're doing. I do intend in the future, if we can grow what we do, I do intend to try and do a public, I don't want to call it a meetup, but like a show or an event, like, you know, I was joking about booking out Marsh Farm Hall, but I'm not joking. If this, by the end of this year, me and Steve can have done a couple of episodes of on the ground with cameras stuff, you know, the little project I want to get going, then we can move all forward with the next phase, which would involve maybe a live show. You know, that might be cool. We could talk about it. Then maybe after that, we can all just meet up in the bar and have a drink, yeah? Big ups Reform BBC. Better call Saul to solve the case, or Inspector Clouseau. These are your favourites, right? I haven't watched all of Better Call Saul because I had got too much Breaking Bad under my belt. Like, once I'd watched all of Breaking Bad, I was like, I'm glad that's over. So everything in time. Look, I've got plans on this channel on how to grow and stuff, so it's all coming in time. But it is what it is, and all in good time. Yeah, we're ahead of schedule anyway. I'm doing better than I hoped to be by this point on the channel. So yeah, I think in terms of solving this case, I think we will find out, and it won't be like, okay, wait, you know, with Madeleine McCann, like everyone knows what happened to Madeleine McCann, yeah, like we all know it, but we'd love to meet you and do a walk talk. Maybe, I mean, I'm open to most suggestions, but I can't make a habit of just meeting people out of chat, because there's lots of people in chat and I'd be doing lots of meeting. Like maybe a sort of like, you know, event where we do it might work, but they do meetups for, like, you know, if you've got a channel and you've got people who are watching and stuff, but we need to get bigger first. Yeah, the river does go this way as well, doesn't it? The river does go this way. And if someone had taken her from this dog walk, they could have taken her up this path. And a waiting vehicle. And you're gone. That way. That's a possibility. Or if you can use the waterways, you know, you've got access to these little waterways that are shallow and small, but don't know. Might be a madness, but I think when you get over here, from what I saw on that walk round of the Sky News walk round, you're pretty much obscured from view. And if you wanted to meet someone or do something on a dog walk, you know, if you were doing your dog walk specifically to go somewhere to meet someone and do something, because there's a lot of places to walk your dog around here. But, you know, if you're doing something regular to meet someone and do something, you might just come down to this bit where you can't be seen as well. And then you're very, like, you might not be in Rowan Water, but you might be very easily up this path. As Mark Williams Thomas said on the documentary, there's lots of exit routes, but there's lots of entrance routes, and there's lots of opportunities to see Nicola on the way up and other places. Like, this is the school up here, isn't it? The tennis club. Like, should have come up this road potentially, but did she? That's for Jojo. Thank you, Big Chris. That's for Jojo. Thank you. There events is pie in the sky. That's another year down the line. Don't think that we're going to be doing that this Christmas. Although it's potential, who knows? But first of all, I need to build up the channel to a bit bigger. And I've said a million times, I don't want to overload this. I don't want to talk too much now. It's time for action. But I've got these cameras. I've got this kit. I know how to make a documentary. I've shown you it just a bit earlier. I've done a couple. And with Steve of the Dead and a bit of planning, a bit of scripting, we want to do some short journey travel, UK and Europe. Make some episodes of true crime adjacent content, maybe, that supplements the way we work on Super Chuff from what we do, that takes another level up. Not the documentary you just saw on Channel 5, not that. Better than that. In fact, we could do the documentary you just saw on Channel 5, and I'd be happy with that as YouTube content. You know what I mean? So a couple of interviews like that and some drone shots and some walking around, like, I think we could do better than that. So, yeah, expect that by the end of this year. That's my fingers crossed promise. And that's what the tippies go towards, is funding that so that we can take another step forward on the channel and grow. And it's always been you know, I've had a long-term plan for this. We're on like year 2 or 3, I can't remember now, year 3 I think, of a 5-year plan. But we're further ahead than I thought we would be, so. Yeah, did she even leave the house, or was it someone else dressed like her to set up a missing person? Exactly, Squirrel Sniper. All of Paul Ansell's apparently, from what we saw in the documentary today, all of Paul Ansell's what's the word? Alibi hinges on In fact, I better release that video. I can't talk about it here and not have it live, can I? I'll release that video tomorrow. Members get to see it now, but I'll release it tomorrow because I'm not doing it at midnight. Releasing a video at midnight, it's 1 o'clock in the morning now. Releasing a video at 1 o'clock in the morning is a fool's game. But I've shown you a bit of it today, haven't I? That CCTV, I mean, you go and check my other videos about the CCTV. That CCTV is a fake nightmare. Thank you, Jane, for the £1 super chat. Thank you, Jane. I'm still here to take questions as well. If you want to talk this case, you know, I kind of felt like we should wrap it up, but still got a load of you here, and you're still giving me super chats, and you're still like hyped up, and it's 1 in the morning. So, like, if anyone's got questions they want me to ask, I will directly. You know, I don't care. I'll just ask them, I'll answer them. At Super Chuffer. And it's all my opinion. This is just my ideas. Like, I'm just some chuffer who sits on the internet. This is why I don't think there's any point in killing me.
I couldn't be happier.
Curious Cat sent tippies. From me this time. R.I.P. Nicola Bulley. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
There's a good point. You know, I don't want to overdo that myself either, but the one thing I was most disgusted about by the documentary is that Nicola was hardly featured in it. Like, they just used a few of their old pictures. And at the start they said, yeah, Nicola Bulley was like, you know, she lived in this area and then she moved to this area and then she went missing. And really, like, not much care and attention was, like, there wasn't a portrait of Nicola necessarily, was there? You didn't feel like you got to know Nicola through this documentary or anything. Like, you feel like, as the victim of the crime, she's been sort of not really featured. In fact, the whole documentary really was about the social media response. And, like, if you put it in order of what the documentary is about, it was about the missing Nicola Bulley, how the public responded, how the media wanted to control it, and the police. And Paul Ansell might have been a figure of... It might have been Paul, but it wasn't. And then Nicola at the end. But they didn't do anything about Nicola. Like, they didn't even put together a... Thank you very much, Big Chris, thank you. They didn't put together a sort of, like, okay, I think it's a bit naive and a bit sickly to put together a montage of Nicola Bulley pictures and be like, R.I.P. Nicola. I didn't know her. I'm a YouTuber. What am I doing a musical tribute to Nicola Bulley? I don't fucking know her. But at the same time, I care, and I see her, like I said, as your sister, your mother, like everyone else's, like my neighbour. Like, you know, I see her as my neighbour, and I do care, and I do feel that sense of, I guess, injustice, shame, anger. Like, you know, I do care, but they didn't. They themselves making that documentary, and we should. You know, I don't want to make it like a sort of pity grift over Nicola, like pretending that I'm her, like I'm her crusader. Like, I'll be real about who I am. You know, I care, but like, I'm going to live my life, aren't I? I'm going to carry on. She's not, and her family have always been scarred by this whole thing, but they didn't make any, on the documentary, yeah, forget me, on the documentary, they didn't make any sentiment, they didn't evoke any sentiment towards Nikki. It was really cold. All the other women who turned up, you know, and yeah, all those other women I need to probably look into at some point. Dover and Tolly's mom, that's right. But I hope the rest of the internet do that more, because, like, I'm not Inspector Morse, but... Big ups, Jamie M. I see you. You're not being blocked. You're above my head. But if something you said did get blocked, maybe it's YouTube blocking it. Yeah. I think tonight would have been, like, I tested this by uploading the video I recorded of Channel 5 thing. Immediate copyright bang. When we did it before with Paul Ansell's interview, didn't have the heavy copyright problem. This one, heavy copyright bang. So they've obviously thought at their end, Channel 5, they've been aware that they're going to be broadcasting this and social media are going to try and clip it and use it. And they've put heavy copyright control, whether it's music they've used or whether it's... I think media companies have a relationship with with companies like YouTube. I think they obviously do. They would have like a rep that they can talk to. We're releasing a big piece of media. We want to make sure it doesn't get copyrights on YouTube. Can we make sure that it's in the system early? Like, they would have had to have put it in the copyright system for it to get flagged, if you know what I mean. So it's in the system somewhere. They've got ahead of that. So I think this stream I can't play it. It's almost, I don't want to say it's a contrived trap to ruin YouTubers, but most YouTubers who are naive enough to just play this video are going to get hit with problems. And that's an irony, isn't it? Because the video is about how we don't like social media and social media is bad, presented on a channel that has a social media platform that presents their content on the internet. Like, they benefit from social media when they want to, don't they? But they want to control it in some way. Or that social media has got out of control should be a concept is ridiculous. Like, you don't mean what you got to read between that line as well, is that it's not social media has got out of control, it's people have got out of control, isn't it? And that's why Peter Folding's interesting, because he's got a background in protester removal, which started when people got out of control. And we thought, wow. Well, we didn't. Margaret Thatcher and her government thought, wow, people are getting out of control. We're going to need to put these people back in their boxes somehow. So they started creating laws and rules and policing standards and directives, and they started to regain control over the public. And it wasn't just physical, although it was physical at times. It was also a war of hearts and minds. And they had the mechanism to control those minds. Big ups, Big Chris. Good night, yeah. I think I will come towards the end of the episode now. I might jump over to Twitch because I'm still alive and kicking an eggy. And I might just jump over to Twitch where we can play some of the documentary, and I won't do the whole big react tonight, but we can play some, and I can play some video games because I need to do my dailies on the video games, and I love the video games. And everyone else is going nights. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for everyone who has been generous enough to contribute financially, but also generous enough to share this and to get involved as well. Ultimately, I do care. I say I'm just me, and I'm going to live, and Nikki's, I'm not trying to be flippant. I do care. I do feel that this is ultimately, I've had dreams and feelings, and I've been upset at times. Like, it does get to me if I focus on the tragedy of Nicola Bulley. If I focus on the tragedy of it, it can get to me. This is not good. So don't focus on the tragedy. Do it in segments, do it in chunks. Look at the rest of life and take the joy as well, because there is also joy. Was the stat wrong? I thought the stat was wrong, Ali Harris. Although I'm just trusting you in chat now. Simply just trusting you in chat. And if no one else has got any big questions for me, then I don't expect you should have loads of big questions for me. Most of you have heard what I've got to say. So yeah, I do care. It does exasperate me. And there's why, like I was saying about zooming out as well, the other thing exasperates me about people manipulating the public and thinking that they're smarter than them, or that these newspaper people think that they should, the condescension of it all. The leverage, Nicola Bulley to these people is something to leverage for their media career. That's disgusting. Oh, but you're doing it. You're on the internet. You're using Nicola Bulley to get views. People want to hear what I want to say, what I've got to say. I'm not using her to get views. I talk about all sorts of different stuff on all sorts of channels. Like, I'm not doing 2 videos a day on the case, grifting it for money. Am I? I'm not one of those people. So I can talk like this. People want to hear what I've got to say. I'm grateful. I'll say stuff. People will hear it. Welcome to social media. But I'm not utilising Nicola Bulley to try and political points, or so that my business can get contracts, or like part of my portfolio of investigative documentary work that I've done. Like, there are people that have used the Nicola Bulley, and this documentary I've finished tonight just now then, and I'll switch over to Twitch so I can carry on talking and ranting. But what's up, Dover and Dolly's mom? Oh, you're doing Discord, right? Yeah. What shampoo do I use? I use what I call Red Wash, which is an antibacterial sort of dog wash. Like, it's just what they use in hospitals. It's red. It's got an M on the name. I use Red Wash because I think if they're using it in hospitals, it's got to be good. And then for my hair, at the moment, I've been using what's it called? Wash and Go? No, not Wash and Go. Head and Shoulders, because there's a bottle of it in my bathroom that someone left there. So I'm not fussy. I'm not keeping up with everything in chat there. Big ups Wendy Farrell Austin. Thank you for the pound. I will answer questions that are directed to me. D, I did a collage pic of odd things from the house. How do I send it? Oh, Discord, Dover and Dolly's mom. I've got an email, but I don't open it monthly. So, best way to get things to me is to send them through Discord. And if they picked up and put under my nose on Discord, I'll have a look. Don't change, thanks. I'll try not to. Yeah, overall, for tonight's documentary, as a sum up, it was a contrived media piece to serve the interests of the media people involved. That's all. Isn't it? Like, really, really succinct. It was a contrived media piece to serve the media people involved. It didn't help us to understand any more truth about the Nicola Bulley case. In fact, it said some stuff that might not have even been sewn on hold water complete truth. Oh, it was in the inquest. Oh, an eyewitness said it. Right, yeah, her phone was there, but was she? You don't know. You don't know. But you've said it now on the telly, so it's proof, it's fact. Nicola Bulley was at that bench. She even turned the volume down on the phone with that button like that. Like, it was a contrived media piece. Thank you, Chris, for the super chat again. I worry now, Chris, that you might have had too many beers tonight, too many pints, and you're giving me too much money. But thank you, I'm really grateful. So don't feel you need to give me any more money. If you do want to give me more money in the future, I'll be grateful in the future as well. But tonight, that's I've had a lot of money off you specifically there, so thank you. I'm really appreciative. If you want, I will accept more. I'm not saying please don't give me money. No, that'd be silly, wouldn't it? But you've pulled the weight for everyone else in chat now. So if anyone else wants to give me money, they can. But I'm not going to block you. And I'll tell you what, at the start of today's episode, I stirred the waters a bit, didn't I, by getting well eggy about Curtis Media. Now, he hadn't done anything today to get me eggy about. It's just that I saw what he was doing on his channel and I went away from that. I decided not to talk about it and just leave it alone. But instead, he came into my chat and I just didn't... And I was logged in as the wrong account, so I couldn't just quietly just delete him. I had to ask someone else to do it. But, I'll take that. I'll do that. I mean, I'll accept that I did it. Sorry for having an opinion and feelings. I'm not sorry. So, we're on different points of view there. And I'm not... It's not... If you're in chat and you've got your ideas and you want to chat about them, you're fine to do that. We can have different points of view. But that's someone running a channel with a political agenda. So, I don't want that here for this. So I think I can't have it. Like Blank Faces is here. They've got a channel. I like them. I hope they, like everyone who I shout out, please don't turn out to be nuts. But I'm not here just as a sort of eggy. Someone else has got a channel. I don't. I think that people on the internet should help each other to do these things together and to push forward. In general principle, but there are people out there who would rather be competitive and they would rather see, they see what we've got. And they want to take what we've got. I'll take your subscribers, I'll take your viewers, and I'll do it and I'll have it. They don't realise that's not how it works, and that people can watch all sorts of channels if they want, and they will do. And that whole group of people will be here and there and other places. Yeah, absolutely. They're not my subscribers. You lovely people in chat here, subscribe to this channel, but I don't own you. I don't have my claws into you. I'm grateful that you're here. And if you want to go and watch other things on the same sort of topic, that helps us all to push the topic forward. Nicola Bulley finding the truth. But people who think that you can be in competition, or if they've got this notion in their head that there is in some way some sort of competition, then they're going to make content that doesn't help. In this way, these people have their own interests at heart, so it's transparent, and then you don't really want to watch it. It's rubbish, so you don't connect with it. They talked about on this. They talked about how middle-aged women sort of identified with Nikki and relatable, how it was relatable. And they made sure that a middle-aged woman said it so that you knew that it was relatable to you. But in the main, it was a lot of these men saying it, what they wanted a lot of the time. A lot of men. Mark Williams-Thomas was very dominant in the edit. She's a lady. He's a man. I'm not saying it's all patriarchy, but, you know, thank you, Chris. Thank you. You know, I recognise you from this. Yeah, I've seen you in the streams. Big ups, new hobby. You're right there. He does it all the time. I forgot who I was talking about there. Thank you, Nee, for thanking me. Thank you. So, thanks, Selena. You notice Isabel's got a very different set of politics to me. She's more on but she's in America, and there's a totally different political spectrum of things happening, right? But you notice that we can be on the same stream there and try and find the truth for Nicola. So it's not that I mean, I do worry a bit sometimes she tweets some stuff that's a little bit extremely political. But, you know, I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm prepared to cooperate with people if I think they've got a decent heart. And, you know, if the politics are different, we might disagree and we can talk about it till the cows come home. Probably end up arguing. But she's not going to have her opinions changed by me, is she? Like, people develop these opinions not through arguments and row. Like, a debate isn't going to solve an argument of, right, we had a debate and now I've changed my mind to your... That's not how it works. So using social media to have a row about politics, like I could turn to Isabel and I could say, right, I'm going to argue with you on your tweets about politics, and then it doesn't help anyone or anything, does it? Just doesn't help. So like, I'm not going to do that. She hasn't trod over the line like Curtis into making that extreme sort of insensitive stuff as content, but she does have views that I don't agree with. But we were able to work together to try and find some truth for Nicola, yeah. So I think that's a good example. I'm glad that you found me there and are here. Was there a single piece of new information in the programme? No. Good comment. Johnny Hartley, good comment. You know, I got worked up for this as well. I got recorded it all. Thought it was going to be important, like the way the first one was. Thought we might have been talking about this for weeks to come. Analysing things. Where's the new footage? New footage about Paul. The new footage from Paul was he touched the dog's nose. Wasn't it? They did, they showed a bit of the interview and they showed a bit of B-roll of him touching the dog's nose before just getting set up. That was the new footage. What a shock. What a shock. What a sham. There was no new footage of Paul. There was nothing from the interview that was new, was there? They cheated us. And that is clickbait, isn't it? That's making a promise that you're going to have something in the interview, in the episode, and then it wasn't there. So that's clickbait. That was awful. Yeah, in summation, this is contrived nonsense by the media to serve their own interests. And when I say the media, there was a group of them. You know, talk about a group of people setting an agenda. Like this time, they actually got them together. I think the local news gives their stuff to the mainstream. So she's like the source of the information for a lot of them. And I don't think the people from the Daily Mirror and other people, even though one of them was down there with her camera on a phone, just like a TikToker, indistinguishable from a TikToker, they didn't actually dig up any information or find anything, did they? So they just reported what the police told them, and they were angry the police didn't tell them much. So they didn't have much to report. And this guy as well, I'll tell you one other thing that I really want to take out of this while I'm on the stream that I want to shout out. This guy said he's maintained friendship with Paul and the family. What does that mean? You've maintained friendship with Paul and the family? What, Paul and his kids? You and Paul's kids going out being friends? Is that what's going on? Don't like the sound of that. That's all I'll say about that. Thought it was weird. And it again, it's Paul is innocent then, yeah? Paul is innocent of all things. You must be if you're going to stay friends with him. If you're an investigative journalist and you've done an interview with someone who potentially is suspect in a crime, you might just want to stay friends with them. It's weird, isn't it, what he said? His hair looks dark. Yeah, that's because I've recorded it off my computer screen. That's just the way I've recorded that. That's not, that's not new footage. That's just, I've recorded it. Dan Walker was a friend of Em as well before Nicola went missing. I think so, yeah. Big ups, Big Chris. Thank you. Like I said, I've got more to do. I've got more to do on this, lined up as well. So I've got to finish the COP report. I made a mistake in the last COP report episode, which I have put unlisted. Because I thought that one of the police people was on the case before. Like, I got my times and my dates and my who was the police lady that was the SIO wrong. So I need to redo that episode. Literally what I'm going to do is play it and sit here like this. And when I make the mistakes, I'll critique myself. And I'll say, no, you idiot. That was Sally Riley. Well, that was Becky Smith. And that's all I need to do, because it's only that I get wrong. Otherwise, all the work I attribute to the good policing of so-and-so should be to the other one. And then we can just keep that video. But I made a mistake. Hold my hands up. Not perfect. Make mistakes sometimes. And was since corrected by good people on Twitter with evidence, and people in our group on Discord helped me to see the evidence there as well. So completely have agreed that I made the mistake. So I need to just redo that episode. But we then finished the COP report. And I then... Like, in the meantime as well, there'll be other stuff. The COP report comes in chunks as I'd get to it, because it's a dry read. The other stuff, I've got a bit of a video coming up. Like I say, whether it's a video or a live stream, it'll be stuff that no one else has said to you about Nicola Bulley case. It'll be stuff that no one else has shown in the public and put together. And you might agree and you might disagree, and that's fine. And it's bigger picture stuff. So we've got that to go. So look out for that on this channel. And I've got ideas on into the future for more content on Super Chuffer. Of course, I'm existing on the internet in other places. Twitch, I'm about to go there now. Battery Exhausted for eccentrics and lolcows. Super Chuffer for you if you want to watch a bit of Neighbours with me doing my accent over the top. Excuse me. The Button.
Now hold on, Lorraine.
If you want to watch a bit of that, and it is quite fun. That's on Super Chuffer for you. And when I'm in the right mood, when I want to have a good laugh, when I'm in the right mood, watching Neighbours, what we do is we go on Twitch and we watch all sorts of rubbish. So watching a Neighbours or a Cook Report or something like that is fun. And we watch it and react to it, and it's fun. So Super Chuff for You is my channel for just like, no hard, heavy, nothing hard or heavy, just fun. And I don't put the games there anymore. They're on their own channel. I put everything on its own channel for you. So whatever you like about it, if you want to have a chill out afterwards, we do that as well. And that's why I'll tell you this as well, I'm not ever planning to be, like, I could have looked at today as Feeding Frenzy Day. Nicola Bulley documentary, Feeding Frenzy Day. I'm going to make videos about that now, little clips, 10-minute videos. You can have 10 minutes, 2 videos a day now for the next 2 weeks. I'll do the Idaho 4 case. I'll do a 10-minute video every day talking about whether Brian Coppinger had jam on his toast. 10-minute video every day. I could still be talking about the Chris Watts case in 2024. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not on that. And if I did, if any of you, a lot of you know this because you watch the true crime content. If you go and watch a load of true crime content and like binge on it, then you feel like crying because horrible things are happening to people who are innocent, and not every justice is being served. And like, if you just do that for 2 weeks or a month, then at the end of it, you're going to feel bad. And we don't have to feel bad all the time. And I don't want to. So I'm not going to be Scotty Hottie twice a day, true crime, grind that true crime. I'm just not. I've got things to say. I've got videos to make and content to produce. And we will go, I want to call it true crime adjacent, criminology, psychology. That's where I want to go. I don't want to be true crime. But unfortunately, you say it in the pub, what you've been talking about, Nicola Bulley. Oh, your true crime channel. People, I get it. You're right, we burnt all our brains. Exactly, Big Chris. Like, I go in waves patterns with it. Wave patterns. Thank you again for the £5, even though I've told you specifically to not give me any more money. It goes in wave patterns. Sometimes I've got energy for it, and sometimes I just don't want to look at it. And I think that's human, and that's fine. And I think if you work for the police force, you're trained in how to leave this at the door. And even then you have to have counselling. Like, you can't leave it all at the door, but you're trained in it and you get like a toolkit. We're not, we're just normal people with interests. So when things get a bit rabbit hole and you go down the rabbit hole and you binge a few videos and stuff, it can affect you. And that's, that's cool. That's normal. That's human. And when it does, you need to be able to take a step back and assess your mental health and, focus on what you need to focus on so that you're healthy and productive, so that you can do the good work. And none of us should feel the burden here. Like, I've been trying to say earlier in probably quite a crude way, is that I don't have to feel the burden for Nicola Bulley's death because I didn't kill her and I don't know her. Like, there's lots of tragedies that happen all over the world, and I feel the burden in a small way for all of it. So in that same way, I feel a bit of a burden for Nicola Bulley, and especially as I've been doing content about it, I feel more of that burden. But that's natural, that's human, but it's also, you know, important as humans, natural humans. Where's my forest music? To be able to unburden yourself from it, and to, you know, you don't have to. Like, we don't have to shoulder that burden necessarily, do we? Like, and if it gets to the point where it's depleting your energies, like, you're going to burn some energy on it, but if it gets to the point where it's like, you know, making you feel bad, then, like, yeah, it's about setting that down, isn't it? You know, set that burden down and find a break, find some time to regenerate, rejuvenate, and come back at it. I think that's the way I'm going to go with the Nicola Bulley content, you see. Obviously, I'm aware it's my most popular content on Super Chuffer, and I'm aware that the more of it I make, the more views and stuff. It's not about view hunting, though. You know, it's not about counting numbers here. It's about trying to actually provide some insight. Some, you know, people might not even agree with what I've said on Nicola Bulley Case Solved. They might not agree with that, but it's something that no other people have suggested or talked about. And in my opinion, video evidence is better than eyewitness accounts. So the video of Peter Folding and the video of Ernest, in my opinion, Ernest Bulley, I think that's more important than a witness account saying that they think they saw somebody in a coloured coat, you know. So I hope to do more of that sort of level stuff. At the same time, I'm going to revisit the body language of the people with hindsight, and we're going to see more and more developments. It's not going to stop. Like, more people are going to say some stuff. More people are going to. I don't think anyone will come out and say a big. You know, I don't think Paul Ansell's going to come out and do a big reveal interview, but I think more information will come out, and more Lego. Like, some of us are creating little Lego bricks, like videos. Like, that's what I think I'm doing. I'm saying, like, here's some Lego bricks, and then other people do that, and before you know it, you've got quite a few Lego bricks, and you can start to build the shape of the thing. You know, I think that might happen a bit. But as to changing the world and getting real justice for Nicola, it might be beyond me. I'm not a detective. So I hope you enjoy the content. And on reflection, what I've done today is come on the internet and had a huge rant. So it's not going to look good for me. It's not going to be my best ever look in a video. But if you've watched it thus far and you've seen me saying this bit at the end, then you're one of the hardcore. So you've not gone anywhere. So thank you. Public opinion of who, me to be irrational and ranty doesn't make me look good when it comes to the facts of the Nicola Bulley case. But this was a piece about media, and I didn't even get to completely dissect the media, did I? I haven't even gone through this like shot by shot and told you what I think about the the media aspect of it. Well, I've told you a little bit, haven't I, in terms of what I think it is. This is Technic Lego Technic, yeah. It's Meccano. I thought I was doing Lego, so someone's give me 2 Meccano bits. That's why they need Peter Folding in the river, because you can find a Meccano in the river. You can find the little Meccano nuts in the river. If I was a better entertainer, I'd learn to do an impression of Peter Folding as well. That would be good. Peter Folding. I've got the best sonar. I was doing the best sonar. Can you move the picture of Eddie? They're all pictures of bad people. That's Super Chuffer channel. Philip Schofield's there, look. That's bad. They're all bad. You have to look at Super Chuffer for you for the nice people. There's Neighbours, look. There's the 80s adverts. We need to do that. More of that. Let's watch some 80s adverts. So yeah, I'm going to go over to the other channel now, and it's night's time. It's 1:30 in the morning. Yeah, big ups, Claire. I watch true crime, but not when someone's wringing the living daylights out of a case. 2 or 3 uploads a day, it becomes unhealthy. So I've unsubbed a few channels. Yeah, I think overall the channels that I respect the most are the ones that drop one big video every month, and it's really good. They don't need to do a video every day trying to grift the audience. Like, they're not trying to, like, and it's ironic, isn't it, that you sort of build, I think you need to build up to that. I think you need to build up to the skills and the editing prowess, and also the audience. Like, if you do one cool video every month, you might not grow quick enough, but if it's good enough quality, then it's there for you on the internet. So I respect that sort of grind more. Saying about a grind and a grift, I respect the grind where people do it behind closed doors and work really hard and then present something good. That's what I would aspire to. I know that I'm doing live streams and they're not always going to be that. It's just going to be me talking a lot of the time. But what I don't, what I see, because I'm a content creator, I know how it works. I just see that sort of need to have content every day, this desire and need to have something happening every day. So you end up scraping the barrel, or even forget the barrel, just scrape the bloody. I'll make my own barrel and I'll just talk. There was a tweet the other day. Someone did a tweet which said, "Name 5 things you can talk about for half an hour on without notes." And I thought, well, I know some YouTubers who can talk for more than half an hour on quite a lot of topics, true crime related, without any notes, because that's all they do every day. And that's what troubled me. I said it earlier. I'll reiterate one more time, and then I'll just shut up and move on, and go off to play games on Twitch. But there's no point in asking the same question a million times and having 10 episodes about the same question. There's no, like, one of the worst grifters who's now kicked off YouTube. That's all they ever did. That's all they ever do. And why this? And why that? And it's a mystery. And what if she did this? And where was that? And it's a mystery. And how many times can you ask the question, why was the dog lead? Where was the dog lead? What if a why was there? You need to start answering those questions. You need to start putting forward some answers, because otherwise, well, what the answer is, it's a cover-up. Well, that's the answer to everything then. Might as well not bother doing episodes on the internet. It's a cover-up. Just do that. Just do a tweet once in a while just saying it's a cover-up. It's like, you need to find some answers, otherwise you're not doing anything. You're just talking, flapping your gums, fishwifing. Thanks, Big Chris, for another £2. I'm going to end the show now because Chris keeps giving me money. Like, I see a bunch of you, like, going to nanites. Let me just check my numbers. Yeah, the numbers have dropped a bit. Fine, good. You should be going to nanites. I've told you to go to bed and stop giving me money. I hope that we all gained something from this overall, at least from my ranting, what I've done today. My great hope is that if anyone watches it, even if they think I'm eggy, they understand that there are people on the internet who are not going to accept. Like, it's like, I feel like Rage Against the Machine. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Balls on parade. Like, I feel like this should lead on to an opening up of the protest movement again. Like, more concern with the protest movement, more concern with it being shut down, more political enlightenment and awareness to the side of, let's have our freedoms and human rights back, and can you stop making everything really expensive, you chuffers. But overall, I just hope that people see that and just think, yeah, that was a load of nonsense they did. I'm glad that there are people on the internet who see that, because when I'm sure there are people that are watching that. Like, out of everyone that's been in my chat and all this, I'm sure there are people that have been watching that documentary and they were thinking the same as me. This is rubbish. Where was what in the? So hopefully there's something to identify with there. You're not alone. Maybe that's what to take out of this. You're not alone. Certainly if you feel like me or think like me, then you're not. And maybe nor am I. Although actually I am. So I'm alone. I've got no friends. No, I'm not. I've got loads of, like, I say loads of friends. I've got some really close friends who I trust, like, proper trust. And that's outside of this whole internet thing. And then I'm hoping, hoping to expand my horizons this year. So I think we're good. Crime analyst Laura just on. It was Nicola Bulley's body Peter found. Laura ain't crap. She works for Scotland. Crime analyst Laura is another one of these that, in my opinion, wants to be on the telly or wants to have a Netflix special, and like is presenting themselves with branding. Like, her branding is her own face, for Christ's sake. Yeah, her branding is her own face, just like silhouetted. Like, I think you can get it on a T-shirt. So I just. Like, I don't watch it. I'm not interested. Don't get me going on about other YouTubers, because, people don't like it, do they? You're so bitter. I'm not. I fucked if I can watch that. Like, come back to me when you get on the Channel 5 documentary, crime analyst. Because don't tell me that she wouldn't throw away her YouTube channel in a shot if they offered her a place on This Morning. That's what they all want, isn't it? They all want to be sat on the sofa on This Morning. Or whatever. There's a bunch of people that... Because we're on YouTube and we've... Like, in a different space, I guess. But I have no... Like, if you offered me the chance to be on a TV programme tomorrow... Like, but I have to give up this. I'm going to say there's no future in the TV programme. It'll run for a series or a bit, and then it'll be, what? I have to leverage that into the next thing. And everyone's famous for being on telly, so they're famous. There's not. No one gives a shit anymore. Like, people are interested in TikTokers and YouTubers these days, aren't they? And like the famous people that are desperate for the fame and to get on telly, with the branding,
Kay sent tippies.
they must be furious.
To Expanding Horizons.
Yeah, thank you, Kate.
Super
Expanding
Chuffer
Horizons,
owes 3
yeah.
hugs.
Should we watch some Luke now? We might. I'll go over on battery. So I'm going to go over on Twitch and play games because I need to relax. I play Genshin Impact. It's just a chill game for fun, and it's got a real nice emotional pull to the story. So I'm going to go and do that, and then maybe later we'll watch a couple of videos. But it is getting on for late now. But my sleeping pattern's all awry anyway. I'm fairly. What's the word? I was fairly furious earlier. Calm down a bit now. Receipts, Scott. Big ups, Barbara. I don't know what you mean specifically, but yeah. Receipts. Do you mean about the Laura Crime Analyst? I mean, I've just watched a couple of her stuff, and I just get the vibe that she wants to be on the telly. Like, the interesting thing as well was that Peter Folding showed her the picture as well. She's another one that's been showing the pictures, isn't it? But again, like, someone needs to leak these things. Like, if you've got a copy of the inquest, like the actual recording of the inquest, and then you publish it on the internet through a VPN on a leak site like WikiLeaks or something, well, that's what they're designed for, those sites, yeah? And then no one will know who did it, and no one will know who did it, and then it will just be out there, and it's in the public interest. So I'm surprised those things haven't happened. I actually thought like things like, you know, the full inquest, Nicola's autopsy, although gruesome, might have been available for the committed people who wanted to dig around on the internet and find it on certain sites. And whilst we couldn't broadcast her autopsy results on this YouTube, you know, that would be beyond the pale, we would have found a way to talk about the facts in polite language, backed up by knowledge and facts that we could have shown some at least... You know, if you need to follow this up and you need to see these facts, here is the source. And I'm surprised that in the public interest in today's day and age, especially with Freedom of Information Act, and I've not pushed for this, I've not called anyone up or made any, you know, written any letters, but I'm surprised that it's not come out, you know. What about the episode? What episode? Blind Bee. What episode? I don't know what you mean. I'll answer you, but I don't know what you mean. And is she dangling a carrot? Yes. Like clickbaity, desperate. Like certain people think they know how to use YouTube and social media, and they think it's a marketing exercise. And to a certain extent, it has been for a lot of influencers, and that does work on certain markets. But this is not a marketing exercise. This is the Nicola Bulley truth, you know. So if you're a real like, the problem is they turn their marketing to, they see that YouTube true crime got pushed by Netflix. It got the seal of approval from Netflix, and it got like a season and documentaries made, yeah? And YouTube said, hang on, we're demonetizing this stuff. They went through a phase of demonetizing the true crime, and YouTube said, wait, don't demonetize it. We'll have a load of systems now where you can say it's sensitive events and it's this and that, and we can have a filter, and we can actually monetize the true crime because it's big business. So big business, monetize true crime. So now it's a marketing exercise. But actually, that applies to videos about chuffing cooking or something, but it doesn't apply to true crime, because where's the marketing product sell through? Not the same. And where is the... And there are obviously advertising sell through, but the streamers aren't able to sort of create a... Like, you know, they try it, buy this t-shirt or whatever, but there's no real... Like, if you're doing cooking shows, you can sell, like, spatulas. But then on top of it, you get me ranting again, but then on top of it, true crime is about truth and crime. So it's about exploiting that for views, yeah? It's about using marketing techniques. Why don't you make your videos like this that are more consumable and marketing? And that's all right if you're doing makeup videos, but you're doing true crime. So people want a bit more substance, and they want it to be a bit more serious and taken. And like when that this is what I think about Crime Analyst myself, is the balance has tipped for her into this like self-important ego position of appearing like an expert on the telly, and actually, like, you know, her focus is not as much on the truth of the crimes and the ethics and you know, for Christ's sake, if you were shown sonar images by Peter Folding and you chosen not to show them on your show or whatever, like, I don't know. That's my feelings on that anyway. You're talking about episodes on someone else's stuff, so I don't know, can't answer the questions about episodes on someone else's stuff. But big ups. Alright. And don't get me wrong here, like, I don't watch Crime Analyst. If you want to watch her and you like her, just fucking watch her. I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, it literally doesn't bother me. If someone's going to ask me direct questions in chat tonight, I'll answer them, like I said, but I'm not here to this hasn't been, and I won't take it, that I'm here to slander other YouTubers and poo-poo them. If they're good, I'll say they're good. If they're not good, I'll say they're not good. And there's a whole range of different YouTubers. There's some people I really respect, and there's some people I don't respect as much. And other people don't have the same opinions as me. I don't care. They're just opinions about other YouTubers that don't really matter. What matters is the truth of the Nicola Bulley stuff. Like, who's telling the truth? Doesn't it? So... And like, grifters can grift. I'm a media producer. I want to make money off my media. There's limits and there's lines, but I want to make money off my media. So everyone's going to have different opinions on what's acceptable. So that's going to happen. And everyone's going to get different vibes and feelings about who they're watching. So that's going to happen. So it's not for me to tell you what to watch or do. Like, I really don't. Honestly, I don't give two shits. Like, honestly. As long as you watch me. As long as you watch me. I hope I create something of value. And I hope you understand that I'm trying to create something of value. And that there are easier tricks to this game. There are clickbait titles and marketing and like having the right graphics. And that is important in some ways for success on social media. Yeah. I'm not against it all. I'm just me. And I see a lot of you say it's time to go now, and it is time to go now. I'm not going to do any more ranting. Tomorrow, I will drop the video about the CCTV, which is a reiteration of a point I've made many times and sort of showed you a bit in today's episode. So still watch it, though. It's just that point made very clearly, because I think it's a very important point if they're going to be using it on the Channel 5 documentary. Yeah? Like, they used that exact clip with the watermark in it as well. So it's a very important point. And that'll come out tomorrow. And on Super Chuffer for you, if you haven't watched those videos, there's stuff there. We're about 2 weeks behind on Neighbours again. So I've got to get on that. And, you know, check out all my other content. Check out all my other channels. And we've got a John Wedger Nicola Bulley episode. John Wedger had a thing or two to say about Nicola Bulley, and I reacted to it. So that's going to come up on Super Chuffer. Plus, like I said, something else that I'll be releasing coming soon, that's a bit more, maybe a bit more abstract, but Nicola Bulley related as well. So I'll see you in the future. I'll be doing live streams here, there and everywhere, and I'm really grateful for your support, mainly as well. A lot of members today as well, new members. I'll endeavour to make sure that I do put members content out there. There's no promises. I want you to be members because you want to support the channel. Thank you. But now that I see there are, I feel compelled to try and make some stuff for members. And if ever there's something that's a bit too raw, or maybe today the rant bit felt a bit raw, that should be members. Or a bit too, like, some of the stuff's real conjecture, no grounding in evidence, but they're just ideas. And I think I don't want to do that in the main content because it's just a bit off. Maybe I'll do that in the members content. We can talk all the mad ideas. But yeah, so until next time, you be good. And if you want to join me on Twitch, some of you know where that is. The link is in chat and in the description below or whatever. I'm at Ganjikidd on Twitch. This is my channel. I'll pop that in the chat there. And I'll literally just jump over there now. And yeah, Also, if you can go around to all the other YouTube channels that I've mentioned tonight and say how I've given them loads of shit and they should fuck off. Stir up a load of trouble. Obviously don't do that. Rant was good. Yeah, it's got to come out from time to time. Like, it's not all just placid waters, is it? And I hope you can understand that I've got legitimate grievance there, and I'm not angry with you in chat, and I'm not like, you know, now I'm like, quite chill. I don't know, like it only took how long did it take? 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. So you be good, and if you can't be good, yeah, if you can't be good, if you can't be good, you notice. If you can't be good, you notice. If you can't be good, you notice.